Shotgun Weddings by Christina Weaver. Audiobook brought to you by Weaver Audiobooks. Book 1, Chapter 1. Jack. We have 3 days to make this wedding happen to the bride's exact specifications. I want it to go off without a hitch. I tell my sisters, my palms sweating when they grin at me mischievously. Kimmy, Dee, and Bay nod their heads and keep staring at me. But I can see they're dying to laugh, and it's driving me nuts. I don't have time for whatever the 3 horrors have up their sleeves today. I have a cake to order, a venue to find and decorate, and that's just the beginning of this mess. That's without considering that I have a client who is paying me a boatload of money to make this happen in 4 days total, and if I screw up, I face paying a hefty fine. It's in the contract after all. Are the 3 of you listening to me? Kim, you have the bride's measurements and her photo. I want you to find a dress that matches her dreams. I bark, handing her the file with Miss Harmon's details on her dream wedding gown. You know I got this, Jackie, she sighs, making me roll my eyes because the last dress we ordered was a disaster, and Rainbow Chasers had to fork over the money to pay for something new and very expensive. That last one was a disaster. You went completely off specifications and chose a dress that wasn't even close to what she wanted. Stick to the brief this time, I order, glaring when she shrugs and flips through the file, rolling her eyes. Why, oh why, did I start a last-minute wedding planning company and hire 3 of the world's most uncooperative women? I love my sisters dearly, but they're unmanageable on a good day. And when you consider my job, that is never in the cards. Rainbows is a company I started when I lost my job as an events coordinator for a large hotel here in Hartley, Tennessee. I was up to my eyeballs in debt after my fiancé left me standing at the altar. He cashed in my honeymoon to take his true love Melinda on vacation, while I cried, ate a load of wedding cake, and got drunk on the booze I'd already paid for and was stuck with. It turns out that showing up at work drunk, mascara streaks on your cheeks, and frosting in your hair is not a good thing. Trust me. The short of it is that my boss did not take it well, and on top of a broken heart and a ton of smarting pride from being left at that altar, I got my ass canned and had my mother calling me to ask if I was having a nervous breakdown. That sucked. A lot. Of course, I wasn't having a nervous breakdown. I don't even care that half the people I know and love were there to watch me walk down that aisle and gasp in horror when I got there only to have the groom start crying before confessing that he was sleeping with my cousin, was in love, and had a baby on the way. Hell, of course I don't care that when I started screaming, he got mad and told the whole church I was terrible in bed and he just couldn't face the next 30 or 40 years with me. Nah, that was the good part. The bad part happened when Cord, my lifelong crush, the heartthrob of Hartley, and a man I never wanted to see again, stood up in the middle of the church and walked out. Yeah, that was a crushing blow to an already stupendously unpleasant and humiliating day. Of course, I mean, my name is Jack Brady, one of the 4 infamous Brady sisters, so you know that it did not end there with Felix skipping out of the church to enjoy his escape. A little background on my family. My dad is a great guy. He's jovial and smart and funny, and the man adores a good laugh. When he was 18, he came over from Ireland to start a brewery, and by Jove, who knows beer better than the Irish? He's successful, loves each and every single one of his wee girls, and has hair as red as a Hartley sunset, indicating quite accurately that he has a bad temper. My sisters and I take after Dad, and Mum, who once took a crowbar to a woman's windshield because she called my dad a ginger. I also have 8 male cousins, all from my mum's side, and 7 female cousins, mum's side as well, who believe that it is their duty in life to stand up and right the injustices of this world. Pause here because I have a question, and it's a good one. Might just give you the bigger picture on my wedding day. Have you ever seen 20 variations of redhead, strawberry blonde, and one blonde tear up a church and send a preacher running while praying for the souls of the possessed. That's what happened after Cord walked out of that church, and my temper sparked. I threw the first punch, straight into Felix's unrepentant face, which started his family slinging insults and made my family flame on, in a big way. I think I actually saw real flames shoot up off Mama's head, and my dad, hoo-wee, his eyes go this unholy green, and they shoot sparks. After Mama tombstoned Mrs. Dresser, Felix's mum, her husband had a mouthful to say, so Daddy picked him up and flung him clear across the church. The rest all snowballed from there, because my sisters got involved and then my cousins. A huge part of the debt I'm still paying off is the church. I had to replace pews, the altar, 8 stained glass windows, and a part of the roof. Short and long, we messed those people up good, and then my family and 300 assorted guests went to the reception and invited the cops when people pressed charges. Biggest night of my life, that. I was drinking so much I was relying on my dress to hold me up, dancing to Creedence Clearwater Revival, doing the robot to CCR, and then thrown in the slammer with every female in my family, one of them Granny Peg, who puked in her arresting officer's face. After that, it hit me. I got jilted. For my cousin, the one blonde in our midst. I got jilted in front of my family, friends, and half the people I work with. That's when the booze wore off fast and the crying started. My family is an emotional bunch. We just let it all hang out. The cops finally just let us all go because I caterwauled so much they felt sorry for me. After that, I had me some dark days. I drank some of the booze left over from the reception I paid for. Admittedly, not much, as my family is a mix of Irish and hillbilly, enough said. I drank away my honeymoon week while eating cake all week and crying as I watched Julia Roberts do what I should have done, run away. Oh, and Father of the Bride. I love that movie. It's not my fault all my favourites are wedding movies, okay? And I needed a happy ending, if only in a movie. It healed me, I think. I don't know. Maybe part of my psychosis stems from that week, who knows? When I stumbled into work, looking like someone had tried to perform a bad exorcism, things got worse because my boss was at the wedding, and apparently she did not need that kind of image attached to her hotel. Whatever. Rainbow Catchers was a brain fart I had while drinking apple sours neat from the bottle and contemplating an identity change and fake death scenario that very night, while floating in my pool in my ruined wedding dress. The 3 terrors found me like that, and I drunkenly proposed establishing a business where people with a lot of money could have their dream wedding put together in a week or less. It was ambitious. It was ridiculous. Who the hell knew it would shoot off the ground so fast? And moreover, who knew that my stupid sisters would quit their jobs and expect me to hire them? I was drunk. And now I'm sitting with 3 of the world's worst employees, with 2 almost failed weddings under my belt, thanks to Kim's refusal to let the brides have the dresses they want. Jack, it was so not my fault. She weighs like 200 pounds, man. There's no way she'll be able to squeeze into a mermaid-style dress. She whines. So what? We are clear in our statement. We give them what they want in a week or less. She did not want a ball gown that made her look like one of those Irish gypsies in that show you like so much. The dress wouldn't even fit through a doorway. I scream, forcing myself to breathe when she rolls her eyes heavenward. I was doing her a favour. Well, do me a favour, would you? Just stick to the brief. I still have to pay Daddy back the 10 grand the caterers sued me for. He covered it, but I feel bad making Daddy pay for the wedding that got us all arrested. His Aunt Finnegan still won't speak to him because he's a felon. I need this wedding to go off without a hitch, because this groom has a friend who might consider rainbows if he likes what he sees. He owns a luxury resort in Tennessee, and he'd push the wedding part hard and use us exclusively. I need this. I may have hit on a winner with my business plan, but the truth is, that making big happen fast eats into a lot of the budget. And while we're making good money, I still have a mortgage, a car I bought because Felix didn't like my old Beetle, and I have a reputation to rebuild. Dee rolls her eyes, Kim huffs, and Bay, the original spawn of the devil herself, grunts in reply, as if that is any indication of what she's thinking. My sisters have their own jobs here, just 3 that free me up to do everything else. Unfortunately for me, they're the 3 most important parts of a wedding. Kim does the dress, Dee is on cake, and Bay takes care of the party favours and flowers. Fine, but don't expect me to coo and tell anyone how good they look in something that shows off their love of cake. By the way, that wedding cake binge you partook in did not do your middle any favours, Kim says, eyeing my waistline where I've picked up a smidge of weight. Kiss my arse. Have you seen how large yours is lately? I countered. I do squats, she replies. I suggest you stop and have your trainer's eyes tested or cut out. The man is not doing you any favours, I say snidely, crossing my fingers behind my back for the lie. Kim snarls, grabs the file and stalks my way, her eyes on fire before she kisses my cheek and skips out of the room. Love you, Jack. I'll do this one right, she promises. Liar, I think affectionately, knowing that she'll only do what she thinks is best, and for Kim, that is honesty to the point of brutality. She once told a bride that her boobs needed a lift. Her exact words to the 40-year-old bride were, "Honey, that dress is slamming good on you, but no one wants to see your nipples peeping out from the hemline. Let's talk support." I'd have shot her that day until the bride started laughing and confessed that her husband-to-be was paying for a boob job after the honeymoon. I really wanted to shoot Kim when she pointed out that it should have been done before the honeymoon, but thankfully the bride was not insulted and even bought us lunch for helping her look good in her dress. That wedding happened in 6 days from the time the groom called me and set up an appointment. I met him an hour later, took charge of his limitless black credit card, and put it all together in a perfect display of professionalism and threatening people with my dad's wrath. In Hartley, people know Declan Brady, and while we're not exactly a small town, the beer Daddy supplies to the million bars around these parts is enough to make him a force to be reckoned with. For instance, the caterer who sued me, she now looks elsewhere for her liquor since Daddy refused to supply anyone who so much as gave her $100 worth of business. She got her 10 grand, but man, she lost a lot more. Where are we with the venue? I need to go over there and look at the layout and colours so I can map out the flowers and call Jeanette at the florist's. Bay mumbles, her usual lack of pep making me sigh and mutter a prayer for her. She reminds me of Wednesday, that girl from the Addams family. Here's the address. It's a way out, but they want to use the resort of that friend of the groom's. I would go with you, but I really don't want to be around when you pretend to smile for people. It freaks me out, I say, getting a lip twitch from Bay and the finger. She leaves with the address and the file I hand her, and I'm left with Dee, the real headache of the bunch. I am not ordering another pink wedding cake, so if that's what this dead woman walking wants, you can all kiss my ass. I love Dee, I do, but my mama has 4 daughters. Surely one less won't kill her. Dee, you'll do this right even if that cake is electric orange with blue Smurfs, I bark, tossing her file on the table and turning to gaze at my board where I plan everything to the last detail. I hear Dee huff and let out a curse that Mama complains about, but taught her in the first place, and smile when she stomps away, her heels clicking against the hardwood floors of the office space I rent beside the brewery. By the time I'm ready to close up shop for the day, I have everything in motion, including the bride's request for a Cinderella carriage pulled by a snow-white horse. Geez, who comes up with this drivel, I wonder, snorting because I must be the only wedding planner on earth who thinks everyone is destined for divorce. I'm shutting down my computer when I hear the door and look up to see Daddy strolling in, his still buff body making me high-five my mama silently because she picked a good one here. Even if he's Irish and talks funny. "Hey, lassie, you're looking better this morning," he says in a lilting voice that still makes me think of leprechauns. I smile and lean over to kiss him, loving the way he still pulls on a lock of my fire-red hair, as if I'm a little girl instead of a 26-year-old woman with a failed wedding and assault charges to her name. Hey, Pops, I'm feeling better. I have no idea what Aunt Marley puts in her poker night punch, but that thing is potent. I found Dee sleeping on the hood of my car this morning, in her panties and a pink tank that read, "We'll take credit." My neighbour almost bust her curlers, I laugh, making him chuckle and shake his head. What's an old man like meself supposed to do with 4 hellions? He sighs, grinning wickedly because he loves it and we all know it. Drown us in beer? If I gotta go, I want to die drunk and drowning in beer, I say, giggling when he mutters something about marrying a woman who should never have reproduced to continue her alien species. What's up, old man? I ask, grabbing my bag to follow him out and lock up. He shuffles on the sidewalk nervously, and I narrow my eyes at the move, my alarm bells ringing when he peeps up at me from beneath his lashes. I'm not doing it. Whatever it is, I am so not doing it, I warn, stamping my foot when he pouts and gives me his glistening puppy dog eyes. It's just a wee little favour, love, and after the way you carried on about never falling in love again, it won't be so bad, he wheedles. What do you want? I bark, making him follow me as I stalk to my car, my heels thudding as I hit the tarmac and wrench my car door open. Dad grabs the door before I can slide in and close it. One thing we all need to know and remember about my dad, he's a con artist, plain and simple. The man would convince an Eskimo to buy stock in ice if he needed to, and as much as I adore him, he'd do it to me if he thought it was a good idea. They're never good ideas, recalling the time he had Bay convinced she needed to cut her hair short because she'd look like a red-headed Kaylee Cuoco. She looked like Reba McEntire for 6 months before her hair grew out. Dad's reasoning? She was going away to camp and he didn't want her making herself a bigger target for bears. What? And don't you dare try to make me feel guilty, I ask again. And there I was, ready to buy myself a boat when me daughter gets herself sued, and what do? He asks, putting on the full act and even swiping at his eye as if he knows how to cry. Dad. What can I do for you? I ask, resigned to my fate. Well, now, lass, it's like this. There's a certain man who's willing to consider stocking my own caramel beer range in his bars, and all it would take for him to give me a chance is one wee tiny dinner with me oldest daughter. Dad, who is it? I bark, losing patience when I see him winding up for one of his Irish tale times. We'd be here tomorrow morning if I let this go on. Cord Nixon. No, hell no, big fat, no, I yell, my pits breaking out in a rush of liquid at the thought of sitting across a dinner table from him. Dad slumps, seeming all out of steam, but I know him way better than that, and let me tell ya, the man has serious skills. Must be a result of growing up one of 12 kids in a house the size of a matchbox. To hear him tell it, they were all rabid, except him. He used his charm on his mam to get an extra crust. I were going to take your ma fishing on that boat, Jack. She was so looking forward to it. You know how your ma likes to fish and... Dad, please don't make me do this, I wail, using my trembling lip to make him feel bad. He doesn't so much as blink, and I drop the act, scowling as he looks down at me. This is a big deal for us, lass. If I can make a go of this line of gourmet beer, then I can set the brewery up for when your cousin Mitch takes over. Damn it. I'll even write off the 10 grand and call it quits. He has me there. He knows how miserly I am, and he is monopolising on my weaknesses. I'd respect him if I wasn't so put out. One dinner, I mutter, snarling when he doesn't let go of my door. Excellent. He'll see you at 8. Here's the address. I gape as he hands me a card and sidles off, whistling merrily as he walks back into the brewery like he didn't just tell me he's springing a date on me that I have an hour to get ready for and get to. Chapter 2. Jack. I'm cursing as I pull my car into the parking lot of the Tennessee Resort and Spa, my heart beating double time as I flip down the mirror and take another look at myself, stifling tears when I see my eyebrow again. After Daddy dropped this bombshell on me, I was in such a panic I called the 3 terrors. I plead insanity, and they came over to help me get dressed. Why I trusted Kim near my eyebrows with a wax strip I will never, ever know, but I did. And the result is 1/2 of my left eyebrow sitting on my bathroom sink, still screaming in pain like I did when she started yanking and took half my face with it. The bottom half of my left eyebrow is gone. I am not kidding. I look like I went on a crack binge and mistook my eyebrow for the enemy. And to make matters worse, the skin went bright red and swelled, so not only is the hair completely gone, I look like I went 10 seconds in a round with Apollo Creed. And the black brow pencil D used to fill it in is a brutal slash across my brow. A slash I couldn't wash off because it hurt so much when I tried I had to stop. And it bled. I look like a freak. There's no fixing this unless I use the fake eyebrows Bay wore when she dressed as Charlie Chaplin for Halloween. Just no. I get out of the car and shimmy my white jersey dress into place. Good thing I had protectors in my closet or I'd be sporting pit stains already. People gape when I walk by. I ignore them as I make my way to reception and give my name. The receptionist tries not to laugh, but my wink sets her off, and before I know it, I'm telling her the whole story, leaving out the part where I gave Kim a black eye and punched D. I'm not the only one in pain right now, I think snidely, grinning as the image of D clutching a bag of frozen peas to her crotch flits through my mind. Mr. Nixon is in the dining room, Ma'am. I'll take you to him. I consider turning on my heel and running, but stop myself when I realise that there are worse things in this life than Cord Nixon seeing me looking my worst. Like my mama and daddy hunting me down if I fail to make this dinner. Honestly, half a missing eyebrow would be the least of my worries. I'd wake up with my hair gone and a 4-leaf clover tattooed on my head. True story, that's what Dad and Mama did to Uncle Flea when he stole money out of the brewery safe and went on a 3-day binge. To be fair, he loves that tattoo, but his hair still won't grow back. I don't know what Mama did to make that happen, but I live in fear of crossing her. When I say we're half Irish hillbilly, it's not for dramatic purposes only. We seriously do live like hillbillies. Mama and Daddy have a cabin in the woods, where we've all lived since Daddy made his first buck at the brewery and knocked Mama up. He even has a moonshine cooker out in the woods. He sells to the sheriff and the mayor. Good stuff, that moonshine. Although, the sheriff's left eye ticks, so I'm not even going to go there. The receptionist hands me off to the hostess, who gives me a double take before her face goes lax, and her eyes look anywhere but at me. She leads me through the dining room, packed just for my benefit, and stops at a table where the stuff of my nightmares sits, his big body encased in a pair of grey wool trousers and a black shirt. Cord Nixon is one hot man, I think, closing my teeth tight to stop drool from running down my chin. He has dark brown hair, blue-grey eyes, and a face that would be hard if not for the ever-present dimples that soften it. Couple that with a body that is all muscle, thanks to his days as captain of the football team, and you have a winner. Unfortunately, he's a winner who loved to pick on me in school, reasons unknown, and I hate him. He looks up when I stop at the table and his mouth drops open. Don't even, I warn in a hiss, sitting before he can rise and keeping my back to the room. The only person who can see me now is Cord, and thank goodness, because I feel a drip beside my eye that turns out to be my eyebrow when I dig out a tissue to wipe it. He clears his throat, clenches his lips, and takes a few minutes to collect himself. Which one did it? He manages on a choked gasp when my mouth trembles. Kim. She always was difficult, he chuckles, making my mouth tremble to fight a smile. She looks like a raccoon, so we're square. Okay, pleasantries over. What do you want? I ask, ordering a tequila and beer chaser because I need it. Cord grins at my barked question and sits back, keeping his eyes off my eyebrow. Lucky for him. I have a friend who is currently using you to plan a 4-day wedding. Oh hell, the resort. You own it? I ask, my dreams of expansion dying an agonizing death. He nods, smiling smugly, and I grab the tequila from the waiter's hand and shoot it down before chugging some beer and asking for another. Cord shakes his head, orders us appetizers, and leans back, stroking his lips. I want you to plan my wedding, he blurts out, making me spew beer all over the table. I freeze, not knowing whether I want to cry a lot or make fun of the poor idiot he's roped in. When I say Cord bullied me in school, I am not kidding. He called me Red for 3 years, always stared at me, and laughed his ass off when I went to prom in an orange dress that clashed with my hair because Mama picked up the wrong dress from the seamstress, and it was too late to change it. He also beat up Dougie Dugan for laughing, but still. I had to hit a lot of people that year for teasing me, all because he couldn't keep his big mouth shut. People called me Orange for months. No way! Look, I am so sorry to be this honest, but I don't like you. You made my life hell in high school and didn't once apologize, I say boldly. What? I didn't do anything, he denies, making my mouth thin. You called me Red. It was a nickname, an endearment. You laughed at me at prom. People called me Orange for months. That was Billy Myers, and I beat his ass to a pulp. You had the football team follow me home for a week. They made fun of me when they saw my dad's moonshine still. I was worried about you walking that road alone after Dee started cheer squad. Oh wow, the man is slick, I think, sitting back to eye him stonily. And you kissed me junior year and then told your friends I mauled you. Your girlfriend got me expelled, I accuse, cringing at the memory of homeschooling with Mama senior year. For that alone, I should kill Cord Nixon. Jack, be reasonable. You broke her nose and her elbow. She tried to claw my eyes out, and you know I'd be a laughingstock in my family if I walked away without the other woman looking worse. I defend, hating that he's partly right. I did not tell them you mauled me. Jessie saw me kiss you and got angry. I tried to explain. Why kiss me then, you freak? Cord stills at the demand, a question that I've had locked up for years, ever since it happened. It was my first, I think, not counting the time my cousin Nibs tried to plant his tongue in my mouth because it hardly happened before I tore his nutsack half off. As a first kiss, it was explosive, the beginning of my awakening as a woman, and the one kiss I have never been able to top. With Felix, it was as close as I could get, and then only because the man is a freak in bed. He has no inhibitions, none whatsoever, so it was closer than all get out. Until I realised he'd been kissing me with the same mouth he put on Melinda. I needed a lot of booze to do that memory wipe. I like you, he admits after a long silence, his eyes sparkling when I curl my lip and snort. Nice way to show it. My mama had to smoke pot to get me through senior year with a pass. Your mama has smoked weed since I can remember, Jack, so that ain't gonna fly. True. Fine. Then, let's try this on for size. It hurt me that you would do something like that to me. If you tell anyone I said that, I will deny it and kill you in your bed. I warn, averse to sounding vulnerable. We may not have gotten along, but you were a good guy and I liked you. You made fun of me, I get that, but it wasn't great for me. I got expelled and I never got an apology. You also made my first kiss the shittiest thing that ever happened to me. Worse than your wedding? He snorts, making me wince and narrow my eyes. Look, let's just agree never ever to speak of that again, and I won't tell my daddy that you're being a bastard. You and I both know you want his beer in your swanky new resort and that it wouldn't benefit your business if he decided to put you on his red list. I'm only here because I don't want to wake up looking like my Uncle Flea. I don't have to do business with you if I don't want to, and I don't have to plan your wedding, I tell him. bluffing my way to an unforgivable lie because I do want to expand rainbows, just not at the expense of my self-respect. Cord snorts and picks up his fork, digging into a breaded mushroom dish that has my mouth watering. After about a second of holding out, I do the same, moaning when I chew because I love fungi. My family is all about free, no matter how much money we make, and many a time we've eaten questionable stew with shrooms even my backwater mama eyed suspiciously. Cord just stays quiet while we eat, and I am grateful when he orders a main halfway through because that tequila has given me an appetite. What? You think just because I don't like the man I'm passing up free food? My mama didn't raise no fool. I'll double the retainer above and beyond that budget, give you free rein to do what you want. Flowers, dress, colour scheme, it's all up to you, he says, throwing out the ultimate bargaining chip because we all know I love having power. Damn my power-hungry personality. Free rein, total control over it all, even your bride's dress, I ask, my bells ringing because no bride would ever allow another woman to choose her gown. That's just blasphemy. Total control. Are you crazy? Is your bride a cyborg? Every woman wants to choose her dress. He shrugs as if it isn't an issue and hands me a guest list so long I have to turn 3 pages. These are a lot of people, I breathe, my inner businesswoman leaping up. With this amount of guests, it'll get into the society pages, and I'll be named as the genius who made it all possible. I'm thinking flamingos and doves. Ooh, and one of those hot air balloons. I'll expect it all handled by you personally. You can delegate, but you choose everything down to the last linen napkin on the table. I want this perfect, Jack, just the way you'd envision the perfect wedding. I saw the reception you put together for your wedding and it was perfect, he says, making me flinch because, yeah, it was. I took 7 months to plan that horror movie, and in the end, there was nothing left but my shame-faced family. Not too shame-faced, but we know how to play remorse for a judge jail and a hefty bill that I had to sell my engagement ring to pay off. Some of it. Imagine what I can do with unlimited funds, I think, my mind rubbing hands together greedily. The flip side is that I have to plan a wedding for a man I want, a man who has starred in a lot of my dreams, and a man I would have seen myself with if not for the orange incident. You know this is too good to pass up, I mutter, tucking the list beneath my butt before I can stop myself. Cord grins and thanks the waiter when he delivers 2 plates of deconstructed gumbo, looks like shrimp and sauce to me, and waves his fork at my plate. I know. I came prepared for a fight after Mrs. Beats told me she saw you and your sisters slashing my tyres 3 months ago. You must hate me a lot. She got video of that alleged incident? I ask, popping a shrimp into my mouth. He chuckles and keeps eating, watching me in that strange way he always has. It would give me the creeps, but I have a cousin with a glass eye and nothing gives me the creeps anymore. Fine, I'll do it, but don't complain when I hand you a bill worth a king's ransom. If I go big, I go huge, I warn, already planning the colour scheme in my head. Just make sure it's something you would accept, and I know everyone else will be impressed, he says, pushing his plate away and checking his watch. I nod, finishing off my main and shake my head when he offers dessert. I'll call you tomorrow and have the financial side taken care of after you give me the cost. The retainer will be in your account by tomorrow morning. That's all he says, and I nod, rising to my feet with a frown when he tries to lean over and fix my face. If they don't like it, I can introduce them to who did it, I bark, holding my head high as I walk away. I make it outside on sheer guts alone, ignoring the giggles some can't hide and the outright stares. When I get to my car, I almost punch something and wonder how Cord Nixon got through dinner, with the entire side of my face smeared with black brow pencil. I'm going to sneak into Kim's house and glue her hand to her crotch for this. Chapter 3. Cord. I walk into my office with a smile and ignore my secretary to answer the phone. Courtesy call To let you know I'm sending Bay out to take pictures of your banquet hall, Jack barks before slamming the phone down. I laugh and then shudder at the thought of Bayou Brady stepping foot in the same vicinity as me, her usually dead expression still giving me the willies 9 years after I graduated, and never had to look at her again. She's a scary woman, hardly ever twitches a facial muscle and says whatever comes to mind in a voice so devoid of expression. I like her though. She's loyal to her family, honest to a fault, and I once saw her bite a guy's fingertip clear off when he tried to slap Kim. No one could prove it though, so I guess he was out of luck on the assault charges and insurance claims, something I still laugh about with my best friends, Sully, Kai, and Jefferson. We've all had it bad for at least one of the Brady sisters at one time in our lives, Jefferson going so far as to actually sleep with Bay before she skipped out on him and called him a sucker for trying to call the next day. Whistling, because today is shaping up to be a good one. I handle a few matters that are on my desk and get in my car to drive out to Sully's restaurant, where we gather for lunch at least twice a week. The guys are all there waiting for me, Sully grinning when I sit down and nod to let them know it's all handled. You realise that woman isn't going to take this well, Jefferson laughs, handing me a gin and tonic as the others chuckle at my expense. Since when have any of the Brady sisters taken anything well and done anything easy? I ask, grinning when Jefferson scowls and throws back his whiskey. Pains in the arse, he mutters, getting another boom of laughter when he pouts and hangs his head. Jeff has been in love with that walking cyborg Bayou Brady since high school, and nothing he's tried with her has ever made an impact. For Jeff, a guy who was so popular he had chicks throwing themselves at him left and right, it was a crushing blow to have the Moonshine sisters tell him to go to hell and threaten him with those 8 cousins. Not that any of us were afraid of those lunatics. Nah, it's the womenfolk of that clan you have to be wary of. He finally ground her down 2 years ago when he walked into a bar and saw her sitting alone drinking. He says she looks sad, but I still doubt his retelling. Half the time, you can't tell if Bay feels any emotion. She must have taken pity on the guy because she took him to a hotel, ruined him for all other women, and left him there to pine the next morning. She hasn't spoken to him since. Sully has the hots for Kim. She punched him once in biology class, and it was love at first bruise for him. He still dates anything with a pulse trying to forget Kim, but the man is caught, and we all know it. As for Kai, he adores Dee, the baking queen of the Brady clan, and always has. He's never had a run-in with her, but he used to buy anything she brought to the bake sale and hoard it like a Scrooge for weeks, eating stale cupcakes day by day because he didn't want it to end. We all, in our own way, have been pining for the Brady sisters since leaving high school, and this year I decided that it ends now. I'm getting me one of those Hellcats, even if I have to lose a nut in the getting. That's where Rainbow Chasers comes in. I have a plan, see. A good one, I think. How? At this point, I don't know anymore. All I can say is that I've been hanging around Hartley for the last 6 months, ignoring my other businesses because I am hell-bent that Jack won't snap out of her hatred of all men and find another man before I get my shot. I saw Bay at the resort yesterday, Jefferson sighs, sounding melancholy. She told you to bugger off and die, Kai points out, making Jeff pour another drink. At least she spoke to me. When's the last time Dee even looked at you? He sneers. Kai flinches, and I almost feel sorry for him, until he grins and turns the tables on me. I heard Jack sat through an entire dinner with you missing half an eyebrow. Please tell me that story's true, he begs, laughing when I flush and let out a whining laugh that I can't hold in. You should have seen it, I sigh, raising a hand to order another drink. She drew in the missing piece, but it was hot and it started running, smudged all over the left side of her face when she used the linen napkin to pat her brow. They bust up and I growl when Sully pulls out his phone and goes to his Facebook page where he pulls up a picture Kim took. Not that she friended him or anything. Nah, the man stalks her on that platform through shared friends. The picture has me stifling a laugh and threatening him with disembowelment if he doesn't hack Kim's page to remove it. Poor Jack will have kittens when she sees this. I can't. I have a restraining order pending. She'll for real use it this time if I hack her page again, he mutters. Even I can't help laughing when he blushes, and I shake my head thinking that between the four of us, we're either masochists or we took one too many hits to the head in football for wanting those women. I can't believe Kim did that to her. I heard Mrs. Pinkerton tell her daughter that Kim has a black eye and Dee was walking bow-legged because Jack got a hold of them last night. Oh, and something is in the grapevine about Kim waking up with her hand stuck somewhere delicate. Sully laughs, making me shudder because I can just imagine Jack breaking and entering her sister's house and doing something that mean-spirited. No way! Way, man! Poor Declan had to drive her to the emergency room, and everyone in a 10-mile radius heard her yelling that she was going to use a knife on Jack. I wince, knowing it's probably true, and swallow more of my drink when Kai mutters and looks behind me. I turn slowly and mutter a curse when Felix Dresser walks in with Melinda Brogan, the Brady girl's cousin and the one woman and man I hoped would never hit the area again. They must be back from whatever hole they crawled into to avoid the Brady wrath, I think, watching as he helps her into a seat, her very swollen belly protruding way out. Shit, those fools have a death wish, Sully breathes, his eyes going wide when Kim hobbles in, followed by Dee and Bay. Kim's looking pissed and stooped as if walking isn't pleasant, and Dee has about 10 rings on, the gold glint not boding well when she cracks her knuckles. Bay just stands there, her face deadpan before she cracks a smile. It looks so wrong even Jeff gasps and takes a glug of his whiskey, but I swear the man almost faints with adoration when she gives a rusty cackle. Well, hell's bells. You really don't want to be a daddy, do you, Felix? He jumps almost clear out of his seat and turns, the sound of his swallow reaching across the now dead silent restaurant. People all around don't so much as breathe, their morbid delight clear when Dee sidles closer and looks down at Melinda. I hope you know my daddy had to hide all the guns, 'cause my mama wanted to go out looking for you. Melinda must be stupid. I know it because she sneers back at the evilest of the Brady sisters and rolls her eyes. Oh, get over it already. It's not my fault your sister is a cold fish. I hear Dee's shriek like a dog whistle, piercing eardrums, and see Bay grab her when she goes to dive at Melinda. The cyborg sister is stronger than I would have assumed. Don't. She has to drop the poor kid sometime. You can stew on it for a few months and then kill her. Hell. Kim just grins, steps aside while Dee huffs like a bull, and leaves Felix open. Those rings hit the man with a deafening thud and crack of bone, and he whimpers like a girl before passing out in a dead faint. Piece of garbage. I hope you know that I'll kill you if you ever so much as say my sister's name again. You think my mama's mean. You haven't seen me hunt a deer. I can kill you without anyone even knowing I was there. Now, get the hell out of here before I call Daddy and tell him you fools are back. I can say for a certainty that the one brain cell Melinda Brogan possesses starts sparking because she jumps up, grabs one of Felix's arms, and drags him out behind her, as if pregnancy or fear give her the strength of 10 men. I whistle beneath my breath when the trio turn as if looking for something and then zeroes in on our table. I hear the music to Jaws playing in my head when they start walking our way. Jefferson perks up, his eyes glowing when Mortician, "Yeah, that's what I mean." Adams looks at him, her lip curling in a way that suggests a smile. Or evil. Well, well, well. If it isn't the 4 idiots who think they're a gift to women all over the world, Dee breathes snidely, sniffing and taking the seat Kai pulls out for her with the air of a queen. She sits, picking up the linen napkin to wipe smudges of blood from her rings, while Bay mutters about evidence, and Kim lowers into a seat slowly. I swear that doctor was trying to circumcise me, she snarls, making Dee giggle and Bay grunt. I school my face because Dee might be the mean one, but Kim is like her mama. Sweet and evil, meaning she'll smile the whole time she's pouring gasoline over you before striking a match. Hello, Kimberly, Deidre, Bayou, I acknowledge, sitting back to watch them silently while ignoring the slavering going on around the table. From the men, not the women. Kim pretends like poor Sully doesn't even exist in her dimension, and Bay keeps staring at me with eyes so devoid of emotion, I have to resist the urge to cross myself. We hear from Jack you've hired her to plan some fancy wedding to another woman. Kimberly, I hired Jack and Rainbow Chasers to plan my wedding. Yes, I answer patiently, while she grabs Sully's drink without so much a please and starts licking the rim before drinking and handing it back like a gift. The poor fool tries to look casual, but I would bet a nut he's just one pathetic step away from chewing on that glass like a pervert. She sniffs, looking me up and down with a grimace, and looks at Dee and Bay, communicating silently before she shrugs. They shrug right back, and it's on the tip of my tongue to ask them if they're part of a hive, like aliens, when Kim stands up slowly and sucks at her teeth. You leave Jack alone, rich boy. She's still on a rampage about men. She'll eat you up and spit you out if you think she's going to fall for your charms. Why, Kimberly, I'm hurt. I'm getting married, I drawl, clutching my heart. Mostly to cover it in case she grabs a knife. Crazy woman. Wouldn't be the first time some prick tried to get something on the side. Trust me, many a groom has looked at little Jack and thought they could get them some before tying the knot with another woman. You stay straight and you stay alive. Come on, girls, she has to be somewhere. I got me some revenge to deliver, she mutters, giving us a finger wave and a wink for Sully, before hobbling off, her henchman trailing behind her. I gulp, turning to look at my friends and swallow a bit of fear as they stare back at me with not a little bit of fright. Cord, are we sure about this? Sully asks, ignoring my disgust when he lifts the glass to his mouth and just holds it there. Am I sure? Nope. Hell no. The last time I saw Jack Brady, I couldn't help a laugh when she walked into prom wearing an orange dress with her red-orange hair clashing and burning my eyeballs. I'd have kicked my own ass for being such an insensitive jerk, if not for the look she gave me when she saw me. Parts hurt and true fury. I know she hates me. I haven't missed it since school when every time we meet, she curls her lip and tries to ignore me. It about killed me when I got a call from Jeff telling me she was getting married. It was like hearing that I was going to lose a nut. It felt so wrong. I tried to ignore it, telling myself that I hadn't ever even been with Jack. So what the hell do I care if she marries some prick and spits out kids to propagate the Demon Brady line? But the truth is that I have always had a thing for Jack, something that's kept me from really putting myself out there and committing to anyone else. I've had my fair share of relationships since I went to college and branched out to start a construction business in Tennessee, but none of them lasted past the initial "I like you" stages because women invariably want commitment, and I just couldn't do it. I've always seen my children as little ginger monsters, running around while their mother threatened to give them up for adoption. Only one woman fits that bill, so here I am, trying to get to her any way I can to make her see me. Forget how my heart races just seeing her or hearing that mocking tone. Forget the months I've spent longing for her, carefully planning how to close the distance between us. Forget every imagined moment where she was all I could think about, where just being near her left me breathless. Forget it all and just consider, I really, honestly adore Jack Brady, and I want her love the way I need air in my lungs. I'm not sure she's going to go for it though, so instead of just telling her I want her and seeing where that leads, I've upped the game. She's planning my wedding. Let's see how she likes hearing that I'm tying myself to some other woman. While that's stewing in her brain, yeah, I've seen the lust when she looks at me with those green eyes. I'll be making her fall in love with me. How hard can it be? Do you want to spend the rest of your life pining for Kimberly Brady while she flits around with random men before eventually fooling one poor innocent soul into marrying her for love, I ask, watching his face go hard and cold. No. Then we do this and try to get somewhere with them. Those women are wild and they won't fall easily. But if we play this right, I'm sure we can get them cornered. Jefferson, stop watching the door. She's not coming back. Kai, she's planning my wedding. You'll see Dee when you help with the cake. You bought the bakery that handles their orders, so you'll be in her space for the next 2 months at least. Chill out, I mutter, thanking the waitress who brings our burgers and smiles down at me before slipping a napkin with her number close to my plate. Sully scowls, making her blush and scuttle away, and I just grin, shrugging. She is so going to kill you when she finds out this is all a play, Sully mutters again, taking a bite of his burger and barking at Jeff to snap the hell out of it. I shrug, not caring a bit, because at this point, any attention from Jack Brady is better than the nothing I've been getting for the last decade. After that kiss I planted on her my senior year, I haven't stopped wanting her. The way she moaned and opened her mouth for me almost had me throwing her down and doing something I would have regretted. I had a girlfriend then, and college to get through without killing my parents by dropping out to hang around here and make babies with Jack. I had a whole life that I had to get to before I could even think of settling down, so I pulled back and walked away, making her hate me even more. Of course, I saw the way she looked at me when we were kids. Anyone with eyes could see she wanted me, and if they'd looked just a little closer, they'd have seen I want her just as much. It wasn't the right time then, and I have spent years trying to wait before I nailed down the only girl who's ever made me want to plant a kid inside her. All bets are off now, though, I think, remembering the way my heart cracked when I sat in that church and watched her float down the aisle. To this day, I don't know what I would have done if Felix hadn't saved us all by jilting her at the altar. I both hate him and thank him for it, because I haven't ever been able to stand seeing Jack cry, but the relief in me when he did it. My mum hissed at me to stop the wedding, her eyes tearing up as she hid behind the Freeman twins in the back pew. Dad almost punched me too, if I recall, but apologised later when it turned out I never even had to be there. Felix did all the dirty work for me, and I got to leave and plan my next step. I'm going to get Jack Brady as my own. I just have to figure out a way to do that and enjoy her for years to come instead of being killed on my wedding day. It turns me on when Kim gets violent like that. It's so at odds with her sweetness, Sully says, sighing loudly with a faraway look in his eyes. Yeah, we are so screwed, I think, feeling my own stupid heart contract at the thought of Jack. So screwed. Chapter 4. Jack. I shake my fist at the copier, too afraid to curse it out loud in case it hears me, and stops working altogether, and grab my copies, dropping down on my haunches when I hear the door crash open and the distinctive sound of Kim's shoes clicking on the wood floors. I know you're here, you maniac. You may as well come out right now and explain yourself. Kim rages, making me suck in my lips to stifle a giggle. I shouldn't laugh because it isn't funny. Really, it isn't. But in my defence, when I snuck into Kim's place last night with Bay silently crawling behind me, I needed her lock-picking skills, so I traded her help for never ever breathing a word of this to Kim. Anyway, I was still in a horrible mood, and the tequila didn't help. Okay, well, I wasn't even tipsy, but I need something to blame for what I did. Even I know it was over the top, but in my defence, for real this time, I only used mild adhesive instead of the concrete Bay suggested. It's not like I didn't know that it wouldn't dissolve with some water and a little acetone, and she deserves it. I'm walking around with my eyebrow penciled on for at least the next 3 weeks, until I get some new growth. I crawl forward slowly, cringing when my heels scrape against the floor and almost come out of my skin when a pair of canary yellow heels plant in front of me. Don't look up, my mind yells. Run! I look up. I blame my genes for making me suicidal, and my gaze meets a pair of blazing green eyes that are just like mine, only meaner. That was low. You waxed off my eyebrow, I yell, jumping to my feet to take a step back when she scowls and reaches for me. "It was an accident, Jack," she rages, her face screwing up when she steps too fast and bends at the waist. "They had to use burn cream down there. That glue took some skin." "Yeah, you want to take another look at my face?" I scream, pointing to the purpling bruise above my eyeball where the blood pooled under the skin from trauma. "That's just mean, and I know you did it on purpose because I heard you on the phone with Mama this morning and you're just scared I have a crush on Cord Nixon." "Because you do, Jack," she yells back, hobble marching after me when I stomp to my office, tossing the papers down to my desk and falling into my chair. So, you're planning the guy's wedding, Jacobie? It's not like this crush is going anywhere. You know you can't be with him. And let's be honest, if he gave you that look, you'd cave in a heartbeat, she accuses. I blush because it's probably true. Not that I want to sleep with a guy who's intended for another woman, but I so have an angry crush on Cord, and I want him bad. Bad. That's beside the point. And how did you even know this, since he only spoke to me last night? She flushes, her face clashing with her hair and chews on her lip. Mama told me last night. She called just after I left work and started raging about Daddy making a deal with him and how she wasn't too happy about it if it meant you seeing him again, and I was just trying to help. By mutilating me? I ask, accepting the coffee Bay hands me before sitting in one of the 3 seats in front of my desk. "Oh, get over it. Your eyebrow will grow back. It doesn't even look that bad," she says, biting her lips. "Kimberly, I had to cut some of my hair off this morning, stick it to double-sided tape and use that dissolvable glue to keep it stuck to my face. It looks like parts of me have gone werewolf," I mumble, self-consciously covering my patch job. Dee struggles not to laugh, but I know she finds it funny, and Bay just watches me, her eyes twinkling when the brow in question chooses that moment to come unstuck and flop into my eye, dangling like a dead animal. Ironically, it's Kim who jumps up when I start bawling and coos while she re-sticks it, slapping my face a little hard when she's done, her idea of comfort. "Fine, I won't kill you or cut your brake lines, but only this one time," she says, cutting me some slack as I hiccup and sniff loudly. "Thanks," I mumble, my eye watering when I think about how this all started and the events that occurred last night. Cord, my Cord who I hate and adore all at the same time, is getting married to some nameless, faceless piece of something, and now I won't ever get to have little grey and blue-eyed babies. It's so dumb. I know it is, but I've kinda always had this strange fantasy that one day he'll want me and I'll stop despising him, and we'll create a whole family of babies my mum can torture, like she did us girls. Nowhere in that fantasy have I ever mentioned marriage. Take note. Frankly, the thought of ever walking down the aisle makes me want to go into a catatonic state and foam at the mouth. It's a phobia with me now. Sure, I can watch others do it just fine because it's not me taking that walk and risking the possibility of having the groom reject me. But still, me, no way. Not ever. Ever. I'd die first, but I can be an unwed mother if only to live in monogamous, unwedded bliss with a man like Cord. Now that won't ever happen, and it hurts, even if it is unrealistic. Don't you judge me. I bet you probably have some horrible fantasy about marrying Leo DiCaprio and having his strangely attractive babies. My fantasies at least are not crazy. Look, I've been the DiCaprio route too, but you know what I'm saying. Truce? You shouldn't take this wedding, Jack. Let's all be honest here, you've had a huge crush on Cord Nixon since you were in middle school. Yeah, you might think you hate him, but really that's just your black heart trying to fool you because he embarrassed you, Dee says softly. And Kai? I taunt, making her blush and curl her lip. You leave him out of this. I don't even like him, she mumbles, making Kim snort. Oh, yeah? So, I guess it's just a coincidence that you keep making his mum all those peanut butter squares every Sunday? She blushes and sinks down in her seat defensively. She's nice, and besides, I know I can't go there because he still has a girlfriend, and I'm seeing Zach. I shudder along with Kim and Bay, because the one thing we never do, it's a Brady bylaw, is date the law. Never. We don't mix with the fuzz, but Dee's taken it in her full head that having him in the family will give us an advantage. You know, for that one day when the cops actually figure out my Uncle Jimbo has a whole network of stills around the county and sells enough to have his bank account sitting well within a 5-figure amount. To most business tycoons, that's chump change, but consider that my Uncle Jimbo and Aunt Luann have 7 kids and live in 3 mashed up and converted trailers. That's a lot of bank. I hate that guy. He's always threatening to arrest me, Bay mumbles, her face dead as a corpse's. Bay, honey, you keep spray painting the words "roast in hell" on old Mrs. Gantry's headstone, I point out, shuddering because she goes to the cemetery at least once a week to renew her efforts when the Gantry clan clean it up. Because I mean it. I hope she roasts in hell along with that dog she always set on me when I was a kid. I nod, along with Dee and Kim, because Bay still has a scar on her upper thigh where that dog got her one day when she was sneaking over Mrs. Gantry's wall to steal peaches for Mama's cobbler. Yeah, she deserves it, as does that dog that mysteriously disappeared. We take no blame until proof is provided. I like him. And he is crazy good in bed, Dee says, as if that even matters. I'd rather proposition a rabid raccoon than risk Mama's wrath by making eyes with a cop, something Dee doesn't seem to mind because, as she puts it, her and Mama needed a break anyways. Long story that involves Mama, Dee, and an old family recipe that Mama won't give up. Fine, but at least don't sit there and lecture me about having a crush when you know for a fact you like Kai Hollis, I say, flicking through some orders on my desk distractedly. I don't like him. I think he's sexy with all that blonde hair. But that's it. He's not my type. You know I don't do jocks, she grumbles, her veto on the sporty type having lived a long life since her days in high school when she got her ass kicked by the cheer squad for baking Kai cookies. Of course, it was a different story when it wasn't 6-1, and me and my sisters made sure those loose-limbed devotees couldn't walk straight that Friday night at the football game. He's just so hot, and I hate him so much that it makes him irresistible, I whine, knowing myself and being honest, even if it sucks. Jack, don't go there. That's what my head says, but my girl parts. They're traitors who want me to just throw caution to the wind and... Wait a minute. The man is getting married. Married. As in, he's in love and he's going to marry someone else. What the hell am I thinking? Worrying about how I'm going to resist him when the facts are I won't have to. Besides, guys, come on. The man is engaged and he's planning his wedding. This is my trial run. When it's over, I'll possibly get us a big contract, and he'll be on his honeymoon sleeping with his wife, I say, following Bay's lead and dropping all expressions. It's a lot harder than it seems, so I give props to her for her work ethic. It's brutal. Bay just stares at me while the other 2 roll their eyes and get to their feet, giving me pointed looks. That man has always wanted you, and you better pray that woman he's with is Angelina Jolie. Shut up, Kim, I yell, making a face when she smirks and crawls out, throwing me the finger over her shoulder. Dee follows, and I almost have a heart attack when I glance over to see Bay staring at me silently. I should be used to this by now. Creepy baggage. He used to watch you all the time when we were younger, like he was dying to be near you. If he's getting married, Jack, you got to stay away, or he'll do something the both of you will regret, she says, rising to give me one of her very rare smiles. No, seriously, it was her gift to Mama one year for Christmas, and the poor woman was so overcome she couldn't stop crying for half the day. I love you too, Bay. Now, go order the flowers for this 4-day wedding, or I'm not going to need to watch out for Cord Nixon, because I'll be in coveralls with a cellmate named T-Bone. She leaves as silently as I've come to expect for Bay, and I sit alone, just staring at my computer screen. The problem with this whole situation is me. I've had a thing for a man who I both adored and hated at one time in my life. No easy feat for a chick who in all the Brady clan chose not to be the angry one. Sure, I give people trouble and I tease, but on the whole, I'm the good one. I do what I have to do, love my family, keep the peace when it's necessary, like now with Mama and Dee who are at each other's throats or ignoring each other. I'm the go-between. With Kim and Daddy, who love to argue, Daddy lecturing and Kim getting lippy, I keep them in line and make sure they don't stop speaking for weeks on end. Bae doesn't count because she just generally sticks to her own stuff and doesn't bother to get involved if she can help it. Unless it's fun, like last night. I've never really been one of the out-of-control Bradys because for a long time it was about school and getting good grades before I realised that what I really wanted was, I don't even know anymore, but I bet if I'd skipped college, locally of course because my daddy nearly died when I said I wanted to go as far as New York, I'd still be right where I am now. I have a job I love, a home I love, and people I love, and yet I'm lonely. My sisters would tear into me if I ever said something that pathetic, but it's the truth. I've thought a lot in the last few months since my disaster of a wedding, and I don't think I was heartless enough to say I didn't love Felix. I never would have agreed to marry him if I didn't. I mean, I get when women are hurt and they say things like, they never loved the man or they wanted to or whatever. Sometimes it's true and it's more about getting something out of nothing. But for me, I did love Felix. Maybe it wasn't all about passion and emotion, I'll concede that point, because it's clear that a lot of it was about companionship and building the family I want. More than anything, I think I wanted to be in love, and so it was easy for me to love. I get that maybe I wasn't in love, not all the way, or it would have hurt me a lot more. Instead of crying on the couch for a week, I'd have been inconsolable, so I admit that for me, love with Felix was warm at best. But it was love, and now I'm lonely. He was a companion, a warm body to cuddle up to at night, and contrary to what you may think, Felix is hot. I would never just fall for a guy I didn't absolutely want to rip the clothes off. He's got this light brown hair, hazel green eyes, and a nice body. The man takes care of himself. I miss not being alone all the time because that is exactly how I feel lately. I work, go to visit Mama and Daddy, go home. Sometimes I'll go and sit at the drive-in and eat in my car while the sun is setting just so I'm not all alone, but mostly it's just me, Gnome, my little Pomeranian, and the TV. Which is fine for now, but eventually I want to go out, meet someone again. Not for keeps or anything like that. I am so done with wanting a relationship. Just some good, I won't ever see you again flirting. I can't have that kind of relationship with Cord Nixon. There isn't anything anonymous about that man, but hell, a girl can dream, right? Chapter 5. Jack. Bae hustles over to where I'm instructing the decorators to hang swathes of white and cream silk from the pillars and roof of the resort's banquet hall. My vision for this wedding is a classy harem, so I'm trying to create an almost tent effect in the hall, keeping everything plain and one-toned to offset the colourful seat covers we had specially made by a set of seamstresses that work fast. There are pinks, purples, and cerulean blues scattered randomly, as well as reds and oranges that make up the truly awesome goodie bags Bae slapped together. Tomorrow is the wedding of one Miss Stacey Harmon to Mr. Teddy Tucker, personal friends of Cord's from college. It's been a hectic 4 days, with me running around raiding our storage area for the fabrics, the right tables and chairs, and pulling together the perfect accessories for this shindig. I dropped the caterer at the last minute because she was being difficult about the menu, an eclectic mix of rich man's foods like lobster, and the other stuff the groom's family insisted on, like corn dogs and mini donuts. Things are complete mayhem, and I'm stressed the hell out trying to coordinate the resort's kitchen staff, order enough ingredients for the food, and then set this place up the way I want it. The bride wanted something incomparable to remind her and Teddy of their trip to the Middle East. So here I am trying to turn one plain room into the equivalent of a Bedouin paradise and a sultan's wet dream. Wow, Jack, this place looks exactly like your sketches, Bay says, eyeing the extravagant colours offset by the chic whites and creams. Yeah, it does. I went contrasting to avoid the place looking like a circus tent, and I think it's coming along nicely. Your goodie bags are excellent as always, I say, yelling at the idiot on the ladder to move the silk to the left and not his right as he's been doing for the last 5 minutes. Bay shrugs as if she doesn't care, but I feel the air go warmer by a few degrees, her way of accepting the compliment and enjoying it. Dee's having kittens because the bakery we used to make the wedding cake is owned by Kai Hollis, she informs me. Oh, hell, I blurt out. Yeah, man, that about sums it up. Kim's enjoying the hell out of watching her hyperventilate, and Mama's been snooping again, so Dee's going crazy and threatening to kill her just for fun. Sounds like a normal week for the Bradys, I sigh, laughing when Bay's lip twitches. I've confirmed the flowers for tomorrow at 8, and I'll be here to take delivery. You want to be here to set up, or should I do it? She asks, making me pause and cringe a little because this is her area, and yet here she is asking my preference. I tend to micromanage stuff a little, okay a lot, but as we all already know, I have a complex about being in control, so... Nah, you do it. The flowers are your baby, I find myself saying, every cell inside my body revolting at the thought of giving up the reins for even a second. I think I get my power-hungry personality from Mama. Bay jerks, the only indication that she's shocked, and I look over at her with an eye roll pursing my lips. I'm not that bad, I mutter. Jack, you once made a bride wear a veil she didn't want because you said the dress was off without one. Hell, you arranged Christmas at Mama's even though it was Aunt Luann's year. She was going to roast an entire pig and put salads out on the picnic table. That just isn't right. We always have turkey on Christmas, I defend, flushing because I still remember Luann's face when she realised I'd outmanoeuvred her and sent out texts to change the venue 2 days before the big day. Don't you dare get sanctimonious with me. Who the hell wants to sit outside in the baking sun eating carved pig and potato salad on Christmas? Bay hums, looking over the tables as I scream at George to move the silk left. Left. George, did your mama drop you when you were born? I yell, stamping my foot when he grins. Jack, darling, my mama is your Aunt Luann. Of course she dropped me. Hell, she forgot coal in the grocery store and didn't even know it until the sheriff dropped him home the next morning. He laughs, making me giggle and huff. True story. But in Luann's defense, she had a whole passel of kids, and losing one was more luck than forgetfulness. The sheriff thought he'd teach her a lesson, keeping Cole all through that day and night, and that Luann would be going crazy with fear. He found her on her porch rolling a joint and sipping sweet tea when he finally got the message and brought Cole home. Luann still insists she was trying to show the sheriff why she forgot Cole in the first place, and I do think she wasn't that far off. His wife made him return the kid after they found their vacuum cleaner dismantled, because the little one wanted to know how the magic machine ate all that dirt. Some of my kin are dumb as dirt. Show me your left hand, George. He holds up his right, looking down at me innocently, and I grunt, trying not to laugh, or feel pity for the poor fool. Fine, maybe I was wrong. Go right. He finally moves the silk where I want it, and I sigh, shaking my head and moving to stand next to Bay, where she's watching the dance floor get another coat of... Not wax! Esmeralda! Do you want me to get sued if people fall all over the place? I screech, going poker stiff when she pops her gum, and keeps moving the polisher over the already sparkling floor. Some days I wonder why I even bother talking to people who share blood with me. It's a losing battle. She's knocked up, Bay mumbles before I can lose my temper and thump Essie the way I want to. What is this? Number 5? I gasp, my jaw falling open. 6. But you've seen Skeeter. What the hell? I mutter, shivering at the thought of Skeeter Brogan coming anywhere near me with his tobacco breath. The man is a cousin. My family is obviously related to rabbits, but I have no loyalty when it comes to common sense and a set of working eyeballs. He's nasty. He doesn't care about showering. His hair is a genuine mullet, and his teeth tell stories, namely that he's been chewing tobacco since he was 3 years old. Honestly, I just do not understand why Cousin Essie is with him, never mind procreating with the man 6 times. I'm going to get back to the office and make sure my end is covered for tomorrow, Bay says. Dee's got the cake handled, and Kim's already checked the dress 3 times. Let's hope the bride gave us the right measurements, or it's a wash no matter what we've arranged. Yeah, I mutter, waving her off to wait for the last of the silk to go up. George, the other left. If he doesn't get it soon, I'll get up there myself, I think, breathing deeply as I watch. It looks great. I turn at the sound of that voice and feel my heart and everything else start pounding when Cord comes to stand beside me, his eyes taking in the decor with an appreciative glance. Thanks, it's been the nicest one so far. Stacey gave us free rein as long as her brief is met, so it's been easy too, I say, turning to look at George because it beats staring at Cord. He smiles, nodding at George before turning to me. Have lunch with me? I'd like to talk about what you've got in mind for the wedding. The words dump a gallon of ice-cold water on my libido, and I swallow, nodding before telling George he's done for the day, and turning to follow Cord. He leads me out of the hall and to an elevator, his hand settling in the small of my back. I start breathing hard at the touch of his hands on me, and stiffen to stop a flinch when his fingers tighten a breath away from my arse. I've asked the kitchen to send something up to my office. I hope that's okay? He asks, not waiting for an answer, when the doors open and he leads me out. The touch isn't uncomfortable, but I try to speed up to avoid it. But he keeps pace, his fingers clenching on my flesh as he leads me to a set of double doors and into a large office decorated to look like the sitting rooms of a hotel suite. The resort offers rooms, luxury activities, and spa facilities, as well as the restaurant, and everything here is luxurious, including the cream and blue office I'm standing in. Here we go. My whole body trembles as I walk over to where he's indicating I sit, on a long sectional couch, and I lower myself as he sits as well, close beside me, his leg touching mine as he leans over to uncover 2 plates. I laugh when I see 2 big hamburgers and curly fries smothered in cheese sauce, my favourite meal ever. Cord grins. I remember you ordering this every time I'd see you and Kim at the diner. It's my favourite, I reply. Taking a big bite, I moan when grease and the flavour of beef and tomatoes hit my tongue. Cord follows suit, taking a huge bite out of his burger, and we're silent for long enough that I get through half my burger and start on the fries before he hands me a Coke and leans back to watch me eat. You always did have an appetite? It's so different from the cheerleaders and today's modern women. It's nice. I snort, shoving a clump of cheesy fries into my mouth, and lick my fingers clean before rolling my eyes. Is that your way of saying I eat a lot? No, hell, I just never understood why chicks were always on diets or eating hardly enough to sustain a child. It's ridiculous, he mumbles, finishing off his burger to pick at his fries. Good, because I am not ever changing. I like food and cake and ice cream and cookies, and I'm not giving that up just so I'm normal like other women. In my family, if you weigh less than the average 16-year-old, they have you committed, 'cause then something's wrong. He chuckles, settles back into the corner of the couch, and keeps watching me until I get so uncomfortable I put my fries down and turn to look back at him, blushing. You're still beautiful, you know that? He asks softly, making my breath stop in my lungs as lust and fear collide inside me. I want Cord Nixon badly, but I'm not about to forget why I am here. I hope. Please, just don't let my libido win this one, I beg, swallowing and shaking my head. You can't say stuff like that to me. You're going to get married in 2 months, and I won't sleep with a man who is committed to another woman. Cord pauses, tilting his head to glance at me, the blue of his eyes giving way to a stormy grey that is absolutely beautiful to look at. But if I wasn't, you'd be with me? He asks softly. My pulse picks up at the slow, seductive question that I really, really do not want to answer. I can't answer it honestly, so I shake my head and sigh, forcing myself to smirk. Stop trying to play games with me, Nixon. You're a tease, you know that? Now, let's talk about this wedding you want me to arrange before I decide to add elephant rides to the mix, I say, narrowing my eyes to let him know I am well capable of doing something that extreme. He chuckles, holding his hands up in surrender, and I feel almost disappointed when it seems that he was teasing and starts asking me about things like what I have in mind for the menu and if I'm going for a band or a DJ. I outline some of the ideas I've come up with, pulling out a binder that I always carry with me to show him a few choices I have for colour schemes and the like. I'll have to meet with the bride sometime in the next few weeks so we can go over. I told you, treat this wedding as your own until I'm satisfied that it's perfect. I don't want anyone coming in to screw this up, he cuts in, confusing the hell out of me. Cord Nixon, now I know you've given me complete authority over this wedding, and while my control freak is totally happy with that, I just can't see any bride wanting me and the girls to choose everything without so much as an opinion thrown in. What if I choose the wrong colours or put something on the menu she's allergic to? He shrugs, not seeming bothered at all, and leans back with a calm that grates on my nerves. Okay, I admit it. I want to see this troll he's fallen in love with so I can scope her out and decide whether or not to make this wedding magical or terrible. Sheesh, what's it going to take to get some answers here? I ask myself, muffling a curse beneath a cough and shoving the binder back in the bag. It won't matter. She's not allergic to anything. Hell, she'd eat roadkill if it tasted good, and she liked the colours at your wedding. You brought her to my wedding, Cord. I have no idea what to say, except I am totally pissed that the man I like brought his fiancée to my wedding. And yes, I know that's unreasonable and jealous but I'm not pretending to be reasonable here, okay? Boo to anyone he likes and boo to him for bringing some skank to a wedding that never should have happened in the first place. I'll concede to being overtaken by the green-eyed monster and cop, to daring to be this unreasonable. There's nothing else to say. That's just how I feel. He grins, taking in my pinched lips and unhappy eyes, and shrugs. Didn't bring her. She was just there. You met your fiancée at my wedding? I gasp, horrified and somewhat intrigued because I still have the guest list and the RSVPs. I can figure this out, I think. Excited and a whole lot bummed because he met his person at my wedding. So technically, this is my doing. I hate you, Jacobie Brady, you suck. I saw her there, yes. He shrugs, ignoring my gaping mouth to lean over and open a box of Gail's Bakery brownies. You like these? I answer by almost grabbing one from the box and moan when the taste hits my tongue. All that peanut butter and chocolate making me go to my happy place. Cord chuckles again and takes one for himself, while I suck on the end of my square because I always feel sad if I finish too soon. They're just that good. You should have these on the menu. I like them. I refrain from snarling and telling him I wanted these on my menu, but my budget was already shot and nod reluctantly, hating whoever this woman is for getting what I couldn't. I'll see what I can do. Apparently, Kai owns Gales now, so I'm sure he'll help if they try to turn me down. They only do the cakes, not the desserts, I mutter, making a note in my binder before shoving the rest of the brownie in my mouth and going to stand. I land on my back instead when Cord grabs me, pushes me down and puts his mouth on mine. The taste of Cord, brownie and my own shame are too much to resist, and before I know it, I'm opening my mouth and kissing him back, my tongue tangling against the wet snake of his as he deepens the kiss. I have to. Kiss him back, I think, shoving away common sense. I should stop this. The thought flickers, distant as a candle in a storm, as his mouth trails lower. Every kiss is a brand, every touch a lightning strike. I'm unraveling, dissolving into something raw and aching. When he finally moves over me, when there's no space left between us, I choke on a sob. Not from pain, but from the terrible, beautiful rightness of it. For the first time in months, I'm not lonely. I'm not thinking. I'm just feeling. The heat of him, the way our bodies fit like they were made to, the dizzying rush of being wanted so desperately. But all too soon, reality crashes over me, icy and sharp. Guilt claws its way in, and I push at Cord's shoulders, horror and regret tearing through the haze. "Cord, move!" He growls, making me wish I could stay just like this instead of pushing away. "Jack, get the hell off me! Oh no, we just move!" I hiss, shoving hard enough that he rolls away and sits up, the disconnect happening so fast, leaving me feeling empty. "Jack." I don't let him speak, I can't. I jump up, grab my shirt and pull it on fast, not caring about a bra as I cover myself and keep my gaze hidden. "Jack, this shouldn't have happened. Oh no, oh dear," I wail, grabbing my bag and shoes and scuttling for the door. "Jack!" I ignore his call and run, my feet whispering over the thick carpet and sprinting for the lift. I make it in, and the doors slam shut right as he comes charging out of the office, struggling to fasten his pants. And that's my last image of him before the doors close, and I slump against the lift wall. One thing clear in my mind. My daddy was right. I am more mama than him, and that means one of two things. I'm screwed or destined for the hotter afterlife. Chapter 6. Jack. "You did what?" Kim yells, piercing my eardrums and making me startle and hiss at her to shut her mouth. Mama looks up from her potato salad and narrows her eyes at us suspiciously, and both Kim and I look back, plastering bewildered looks on our mugs so she can go back to basically mashing potatoes with mayonnaise and trying to pass it off as a salad. "Would you keep it down?" I whisper, clenching my teeth together when she closes her eyes and looks heavenward, as if begging for guidance. "You did not just tell me you let Cord Nixon rough your muff," she hisses, grabbing my arm to pull me out onto the back porch when Mama looks up again. Out here, where Daddy made Mama her little home, a 5-bedroom little cabin, we're not close to any neighbours, but we get into town easily enough, about a 20 to 30-minute drive, depending on who Uncle Jimbo knows is on highway speed duty that day. He has a scanner, and he lets all Brady's, Brogans and other assorted add-ons know when not to speed. "Would you stop saying that?" "It's not going to change anything," I mutter, picking up a canning jar and pouring a healthy dose of Mama's fruit punch. Kim huffs and we walk down the steps, going out into the backyard, where the picnic tables are set up year-round for family gatherings, or just because Daddy hates taking them down and putting them back up again. "Well, I wish to hell it did," Kim says. "You slept with... Jack, we may not be discriminating when it comes to who we tap, but baby, we do not do men who belong to other women." "I know," I wail, sniffing because she's right and I know it. This is... What am I supposed to say here?" she asks, throwing her hands in the air. Today, she's wearing her long hair in a loose tumble on her head, an aqua-coloured silk onesie-type short suit, and big hoops in her ears, with her customary bright heels that make her arse look hot. Me? I'm in jean, cut-offs and a tank top that reads, "I need greasing, kill a pig." These are my whore clothes, so it's fitting. I push my hair into a messy jumble on my head while Kim chews her lips and gives me an assessing look. Why? She asks. How? I'd hoped she'd say anything at all, even call me a slut, but I never once wanted her to get to the nitty-gritty of it because the truth is, I don't really want to give her this answer. Why, Jacobie? And don't give me any of your sass trying to distract me. I know you, big sister, and you never do anything that you don't think through first. Heck, you thought about Felix's proposal for a week before you said yes. True, but then that was a life-changing event for me. And no way, no how was I giving Felix all that power. If I'd squealed yes right off the bat and done one of those happy chair dances, he'd have thought he was the boss in this relationship. I eventually said yes, which just proves that there's something wrong with me. I don't know, Kimmy. I wasn't thinking. It was just me, Cord, the brownies, and complete cessation of all thought, I admit, hating that it's true, but liking it too. Because, man, it felt good not to think about anything except what I wanted. No consequences, just pleasure and touching and the fulfillment of a fantasy I've had since I was 17 and full of hormones. That's not like you, she says slowly, while digging the pit trap I'll be spiked in later, just a bit deeper. I know. Wait, are you telling me that Cord Nixon touched you and every control freaky part of you just stopped operating and let your body take charge? She asks. I nod, chugging on my jar. The sweet taste of mixed fruit and bourbon making me relax a smidge as Kim contemplates me and the truly unpleasant dilemma I'm in right now. Namely, I am planning a wedding for the man I like to another woman. I have no idea what to do, think, or feel right now, but I can tell you, I'm not in a good place. He talked to you at all about this woman he's engaged to? She asks, her voice speculative, exactly what I don't want. No, Kim, I breathe, chugging some more juice while she taps her lip and stares at me. I think you should really think about having some fun. Kim! No, really. Listen, if he wants to screw around on his fiancée, that's all on him. If it's not you, it's just going to be someone else. Besides, if the sex was only subpar, it wasn't. I cut her off. That's the problem. If it was, I could still be comfortable with my resistance levels. I'd just walk away and say, out. But it was good, Kim. The best I have ever had. And you know that's saying something considering what Felix was into, I say glumly, swirling something I hope is a fruit piece around on my tongue. She whistles, and I give her a nod, sighing when she gets a look at my misery and whistles again, just for effect. How? Then I say you do something about it. I was just trying to guilt you into seeing the logical conclusion to all this. You know, he's engaged, there's another party. But Jack, if you want him, then you can't just watch while he marries another woman. Do you think I don't know that? I know that. I think I may have actual feelings for Cord. The real ones like Mama and Daddy and Luann and Jimbo have for each other, I say, shuddering because, well, it's gross seeing those old farts all randy. Kim shivers, crosses herself after I do, and leans her elbows behind her on the table, her bright pink heel swinging while she thinks. He was an arsehole to you in school. He kissed you and bounced. I remember what you were like after that. Angry and sad. It was disgusting to watch. Dude, I got expelled for beating the tar out of his girlfriend, I point out, feeling unnaturally pale that I'm taking the blame for something and not finding a scapegoat. Yeah, she snorts, and you kinda blew revenge kiss right out of the water. You gave him revenge sex and then bounced. Yeah, I say mournfully, hating that I feel terrible about that. And good too, because I win. And lose, I think, actually using my conscience for once, and consider that I am doing the same thing to some poor woman that Melinda and Felix did to me. I hate the feelings we all got from Daddy. It makes this harder to think about. I need to talk about this, though. even if it is with Kim. It's not like I have that many options, though. Dee is a gossip who'd have this spread by lunchtime. And Bay, she'll just stare at me and give me recrimination in that dead voice. Shivers. What are you going to do, Jack? It's not like you stayed after the nookie and talked it out so you're flying blind here. Do you want something with Cord, or is this the beginning and end? Because if that's the case, I have to tell you, you can't keep this wedding on the books. You'll have to give it up. But it's a big one. We could get a real contract with the resort, and then we'd have more work and make more money, and you would have to watch the man you have feelings for marry some other woman, she finishes for me, making things real and unavoidable. I know. I do know, okay. I knew it yesterday after I ran out of the lift, my boobs conducting a real-life fist fight with each other, and jumped into my car to speed off and hide in my bathroom. Good. Now, tell me about the sex, she says, rubbing her hands together and making me frown. Then I grin and get graphic. It was good sex. No way am I keeping the details to myself. I'm just getting to the part where Cord got all manly and aggressive on me when Bay and Dee come skipping across the lawn. Who had sex with who? Dee practically yells, making me jump and hiss at her to shut up. Do you want the whole family to hear you? I mutter, grabbing the jug she carried out so I can refill my glass. She blinks, waiting patiently, and I start the retelling, pausing and starting again with each gasp, cackle, and dead look from Bay. She may not have much expression, but I know how to read her, and she is not happy with me. At all. You did not. I did, I say, nodding with wide-eyed shame while Bay grunts and slowly drinks her own punch. I'm pretty loose by the third jar, so I don't even care that Dee's silently calling me a whore with her eyes while Bay's eyes scream with the souls of the dead. And he just let you walk away? Kim snorts and I throw her a look when she starts making running motions with her hands and portrays me as a wide-eyed, terrified coward. I have got to get footage of that run of shame before she can prove what I did. He came after me, but the lift doors were already closing, I confess, making Dee gasp. That is so cold, Jack. I know. So cold. I know. Really, really. If you say cold one more time, you'll be on ice, I warn, pointing at her while sipping on my favourite juice. I was going to say cool, as in rock on sister. You da man, woe man. I can't believe you. You're missing the part where she slept with a man who's engaged and coincidentally hired her to plan his wedding. To another woman. Bay drones, showing a speck of expression when her one eye narrows slightly, in what I assume is disapproval. Yeah, we got that, Kim snaps when my lip trembles, and I sniff to keep tears from bursting out. Why? Dee asks. Can't just one of you avoid asking me that? I yell, grabbing the jug to forgo the jar, its lifespan completely gone at this point. I chug, spilling some juice down the sides of my face before wiping my mouth on my arm and glaring. She loves him, Bay drones, making the words sound almost human. Do not! Do too, Kim cackles, gasping when I slap her tit and send her sprawling to the grass. Do not. He's hot and he kissed me. He kissed me, I rail, dropping my head back to just pour the juice into my mouth. Note, that works really well in a pinch, I think, my mind voice slurring too. And you kissed him back, and you let him kiss your lips, and you let him pull your hole, and... I get it, Kim. Go back to kindergarten already. Can't. These new kids are meaner and stronger, she says, getting a nod from me because, damn, my second cousins are feral animals. And they range between 4 and 8. Nasty, nasty little things who know some really discomforting words too. You love him. Come on, you've had a wet one for Cord Nixon since you were too young to know it wasn't a pee-pee. Admit it, Bay orders, her tone going the slightest bit harder than her monotone. I sweat profusely when 3 sets of eyes identical to mine turn on me, 6 orbs of pure terror, and bone-chilling knowledge. Fine. Okay, so I may have a teeny, tiny, almost not even there, speck of love for Cord. I can't help it. He was there the first day I got my period and helped me sneak out of school before people saw my bloody skirt. It was... First of all, that's really sweet and a whole lot weird. Second, come on, Jack. We've known you were in love with the man since the night you went to prom. You keep telling everyone he laughed at you, and, okay, yeah, maybe he did, but so did we, Kim says, rolling her eyes when I pout. He beat the hell out of 6 guys in that gym, and the rest of his friends took care of the others. Didn't you wonder why you got asked to dance 5 times after you came back from the bathroom? Well, no. I guess the anger and embarrassment didn't allow for much, but gratitude that I wasn't sitting next to Tom Glenn on the bleachers. This is a mess, I sigh, dropping my head onto my arms with a moan. Not necessarily. You said she was at your wedding. Let's check it out and see what we're dealing with. If she's a complete dog, then I say you're doing Cord a favour, Dee says sagely. And if she's not? Then she's ugly on the inside, Kim mutters. Who am I to argue? Guys, I just have to do the mature thing here and talk to him. Tell him it was a mistake and it can't ever happen again, I say, trembling at the thought of being anywhere near that hot piece of man without touching him. Kim purses her lips while Dee scoffs, and I think I even see Bay's one eye roll in answer. We don't do mature, Dee grunts, making the word sound weird as she drags out the syllables, the end result being mature. Yeah, we do. Remember Aunt Sal's birthday, when that guy puked on Kim's shoes and, oh yeah, I sigh, recalling that we remained mature for the entire night, after we slashed his tyres. Yeah, this family does not deal in stuff like that. Sure, you could just talk to him and make it all adult, but where's the fun in that, I ask you? But I have to talk to him. With your vagina, Kim says, pepping up when I groan and slump onto the table, my vagina yelling a hell yes to that plan, while my inner adult, admittedly the smaller part of my personality, screams a negative. I cannot have sex with Cord Nixon again. I won't. Girl, you can't just say that. Oh, yes, I can. The man is engaged, I yell, more for myself than them because... Jack, be reasonable. You've been in love with him for so long it's tragic, and besides that kiss, you haven't ever gone there until now. Maybe it's not a good idea, and maybe we'd be wrong, but Jack, the day of your wedding, you were fine until you saw him walking out of the church. Kim! Just consider that maybe you and Cord are meant to be together, she pleads, making my hope meter flare high and slap my inner pessimist. I am not ever again having sex with Cord Nixon. Chapter 7. Cord. I was this close to telling her the truth before she bolted. She ran, I remind myself. She ran, so hard and fast that 4 days later I haven't heard nor seen a trace of her. I went to her office yesterday when my patience finally gave in, but she wasn't there, and neither was she at her house. Teddy and Stacey's wedding was the last straw for me because she wasn't there either, as I expected her to be. Everything went perfectly, but the Brady sisters had handed the entire day over to Jill Matthews, a woman I now know subs for them as lead when they have another wedding to take care of. I really enjoyed that wedding. It was classy and yet colourful, and Stacey was in raptures about the cake and corn dogs all night. It got so bad I almost snapped when Teddy started rhapsodising about marriage because I was not in a good place right then. I wanted to see Jack, and even more than that, I wanted to talk to her and explain everything, starting at the beginning when I came up with the harebrained scheme of making her arrange her own wedding, while I made her fall in love with me. I snarl at myself, stalking to the kitchen to grab a beer. It's been 3 nights of nothing but agony since she ran out on me. Get a grip, I mumble, falling onto the couch and staring out at the inky black night. Only, I can't. I haven't had a grip since my mum called me and told me Jack was getting married, and whatever tenuous hold I may have had on sanity fled when I saw her walking down the aisle, another man waiting for her. Rolling to my feet again, impatient with unspent lust and the love I have burning in my heart, I stomp to my bedroom and grab a pair of jeans and a shirt, hopping into my sneakers on the way to the door. It's 2 a.m, and I have no business doing this. But I can't go another day without seeing Jacob Brady and telling her that I want her, love her, need her. My truck is the only one on the road as I pull out of the garage, ignoring my own nerves as I hit the gas and turn in the direction of Jack's house, promising myself I won't sit in the truck and watch her house all night. Again, I get there in under 15 minutes, my pulse increasing with every mile, and it's only when I have the truck off that I realise what I am doing is nuts. A tap on the window almost scares the life out of me, as does the stoic, unmoving face of Bayou Brady. "Hell, you scared me," I snarl, rolling the window down when she taps on the glass. Incongruously, she's wearing pink sleep shorts with the word smile emblazoned on them, and little bunnies who look maniacal. "What are you doing here, weirdo? This is the second night I've seen you pull up in front of her place and just sit in the truck. You got plans for her skin or something?" I shudder, ignoring the fact that she has one tone and shrug, gripping the wheel hard. I need to talk to her, but she's not answering her phone." "That's a message, Cord. She doesn't want to see you." "Strange, a man running around chasing a woman when he's about to marry another," she muses. At least I think that's what her voice is trying to portray. "I'm not. The wedding is for her and me," I mutter, hating that I have to confess this right now, with the sister of the Grim Reaper staring at me with dead eyes. Bay narrows those eyes, and then shocks me stupid when she grins, a mouth curving, light up the eyes grin that almost stops my heart. It's so pretty. It changes her whole face, and yeah, I am speechless for at least 2 minutes before she drops the smile and just stares. I figured. It sort of hit me about the time I saw you and the Three Stooges sitting in Sully's, plotting and looking guilty as sin. She's not here, and she won't go easy. The girl has a fear of all things commitment after that arsehat jilted her, so if you're thinking you're going to make her jealous, nail her down and get her into another wedding gown, then you're out of luck, my friend," she says, surprising me yet again when she hands me a card. I almost choke when I see Preacher Ashton's name and number on the back, my curiosity satisfied when Bay leans into my window and whispers, "Jack went a little nuts on her wedding day after she saw you there. She ended up hurling the baptismal into the roof. She insists it was Mama, but we all saw it. He said he'd do just about anything to get that new roof. You're welcome for the advice. Tell Jefferson to stop calling me and breathing on the other end of the line. It's creepy." I'm tongue-tied and unable to do anything but watch as she walks away, going into the house next door to Jack's and flicking off the porch light. What the hell just happened, I ask myself, looking back down at the card with a narrow-eyed look of speculation. Jack, I can so see her not being into marriage. I was in Sully's office a few months back when they all came in for happy hour, and she got so drunk she started dancing on the bar with Kim. Her lyrics ran along the lines of, "I'd rather use a cactus as a tampon than put another wedding dress on." She gets no points for lyrics, but they spelled it all out really clearly, I think, chuckling at the wedding dress still hanging from the tree in the yard, full of paint from her and Kim's paintball Saturdays when they sit out there shooting at the dress. And neighbours. I'm thinking hard and pull away from the house, with a smile on my face, my plan set in place. Jack. "What are you doing here?" I bark when I open my front door, Cord's face breaking into a smile when he sees me wrapped in a robe with a towel keeping my wet hair in check. "We need to talk." "No, me and Kim and Dee decided I didn't have to be mature," I inform him, my high horse snorting and bucking beneath my ass as if he's about to throw me on it. Cord snorts as if he doesn't have a clue what I'm saying and gently nudges me into the house, slamming the door behind him with a foot, because his hands are busy grabbing my face to tilt my mouth for his kiss. I struggle as his lips hit mine, his tongue forcing my mouth wide for its entry, but I have zero struggle in me, the kiss desperate and sloppy and so good I moan. I'm expecting him to throw me against a wall and make me want it. He won't have to try that hard to make me since I'm already heating and half insane. He doesn't though. He just kisses me blind, smooching my lips before pulling away and grinning, his dimples coming out. We need to talk. I scowl at that, pulling away. Sense returns and I stomp into the living room, putting as much distance between us. I don't want to talk, Cord. What we did was a mistake, I tell him, wanting to stop this before it goes any further. Well, that's too damn bad because I want to talk. It wasn't a mistake. I've wanted you since we were in high school and I want you still, he says, sitting down casually while I scuttle around to put a couch between us. You're getting married, I say, cringing because I should have totally remembered that when we did the thing. Nope, not getting married. I'm not even seeing anyone, he tells me, making my steam hiss to a crescendo and disappear just as fast. What? I wanted to see what you're capable of, and after getting a look at Teddy's wedding, I don't even need to see more. You have the contract with the resort, free and clear. Keep the other wedding going. We'll just leave off the dress and use it as a dry run to test how well the resort and your company can handle the numbers. I'm still reeling, not even halfway clocking the rest of what comes out of his mouth, because all my brain keeps yelling at me is not engaged, single, and the all too important, I don't have to feel guilty anymore. You toad! I screech, the relief dying a quick death as the ramifications hit me. Cord doesn't move, doesn't even twitch an eyelid while I rant and scream profanity at him. My store of curses so vast, I run out of breath before I run out of words. I felt like hell for 4 days because I thought I was the other woman, and you're not even in a relationship, I yell, balling my fists at my side to keep from launching myself at him. Jack, it was a bad idea. I realized it the moment I wanted to go down on you, and it hit me that you might not let me. I sputter, my thoughts focusing on him going down on me, and drag my mind back from the gutter to focus on the other parts. Like the fact that I, Jack Brady, am standing here in a robe with a man who does good head jobs and I can't even do a thing about it because I promised myself no more keepers. I refuse to fall in love. Okay, well, I am somewhat in love with Cord Nixon, but that's just... And I don't do marriage, and why did I ruin myself for this moment with a disloyal dog like Felix? But we shouldn't have done it, I argue, desperately thinking of reasons why I should not, at all, so much as touch Cord Nixon with a fingertip. We don't even like each other. That gets me a smile, a raised eyebrow and the dimples popping out, making me ache at the thought of never having those amazing dimples near my snatch again. I like you, a lot. In fact, I'd go so far as to say that I have waited 9 years to like you, Jack Brady, and now that I've liked you, I think it's only fair to warn you, I want to love the hell out of you. My mouth drops open and shut as he says the words, his eyes going hot and liquid as he stares me down. Everything in me goes just as liquid. I think I'm going to marry you, Jack. Yeah, I am. And you know what else? I'm going to give you lots of babies to give your messed up red hair to, and you're going to give it to me. You know why? I shake my head silently, still blinking as he rises and walks towards me, his fingers undoing the belt at my waist. He spreads it open, his hands pushing in. You're going to give it to me, he murmurs, leaning down so our mouths are touching, and I can taste his breath against my mouth, my tongue coming out to lick him before I can stop it. You're going to give it to me because you want to like me and love me just as much as I do you. I moan my denial into his mouth when he kisses me, this one filled with passion as he slides his lips over mine and spears his tongue deep. And just when it's getting good, when my hands fist in his shirt and my body hums with anticipation, he breaks contact, leaving me breathless and wanting. You'll come to me the next time you want me, he says, smiling wickedly as if sensing my frustration. Snapping my legs shut and feeling suddenly very vulnerable, I clap my robe closed and rise, taking a step back on still trembling legs. Cord! I'll see you later, Jack. Think of me. He leaves without another word, from him or me, and I slump back, pissed off and of one mind on a thought that won't leave me. I think I just got upped by Cord Nixon. I screwed him and run. He just blew my mind and walked away after throwing me a challenge I can't resist. Chapter 8. Jack. I huff, shoving at my hair and glare at the menus on my desk, my mood way more than unpleasant, and the reason even morons like Dee and Kim are giving me a wide berth today. I haven't thought of anything else but Cord since he walked out of my house yesterday. That rat, that unimaginably sexy rat turned me on and upside down and walked away without so much as a smile. No, wait, he did smile. Smugly. As if he knew that I couldn't just stop wanting him and would be a wreck this morning. So he lied. So what? And so what if you feel like an idiot? Go see the man, please. I need you to put me out of my misery, Kim yells, stopping to lean into my office to scowl at me. I eye the stapler longingly and have to remind myself that she gave me a freebie after the superglue incident, so I can't just throw it at her head, no matter how much I want to. I can't. He won, I whine, hating that it's true and that I respect him for it. Kim sighs, uncrosses her arms from her chest and comes over, sitting in her customary chair while the other morons come clicking over, too curious to resist tempting my wrath. He did not win, Bay mutters, rolling her eyes. Yeah, he did. He gave you head and walked away with blue balls, Jack. He didn't win, Dee says pointedly, making me blush. But he said if I want him, I have to go to him. So go, Kim says, closing her eyes as if searching for patience. And then what? I yell, losing patience. Then you get laid, again, and again, and again. See, you win, Dee says chirpily, smiling when I groan and drop back in my chair. Yeah, but he was all, you want to love me. You do love him. Might I remind you of junior high? You practically failed biology because you cut class to follow him across the building, in the opposite direction. That's not the point. Then what is it, Jack? Because I am so not getting it, and I have a hair appointment I can't miss, Kim barks, making me jump and throw her a glare. He's being all, we'll get married, have ugly children together, and live happily ever after. Oh no, not the commitment, Kim mock cries, pretending to swoon, while Dee blinks at me and mimics Bay, who is dead quiet and creepy. I huff, sighing out loudly, because I totally get that I sound like an idiot. It did not escape me that I love Cord, probably always have, and that he told me he loves me back. It was near perfect, and while I was laying in bed last night, I almost cried from happiness, because it was almost perfect. So close. Until he said the M-word and ruined it all. I don't ever want to get married. Just thinking about a dress, the church, the guests watching me walk down the aisle makes my head want to explode and my feet want to run. Can't do it. Nope. Can't do it, I think, sighing because the wedding I planned for him and his ghost fiancé is so perfect, it makes me want to. Don't you dare make fun of me. Yes, I have a fear of marriage, not commitment. And can you blame me? The last time I was in a church, I got dumped at the altar, and my groom ran away with my very pregnant cousin. Bay shudders, giving me a little gift of expression that is very much appreciated, and Dee winces while Kim snorts. You are such a baby, so what if he humiliated you and left you broken and pitiable? Move on. You know what they say, second time's the charm. Third. It's third time's a charm, I mutter, grinning when she frowns and looks around. Really? Who the hell's dumb enough to have another go after 1 and 2 failed? Good point, but not applicable here. 1 was enough for me to get the willies just thinking of another wedding starring yours truly. Kimmy, you know what I mean. You guys are great and Cord is, but I don't think I can go into another relationship when I know he'll want to do marriage eventually. I just can't, I say, and it's the truth. I break out in a cold sweat whenever I so much as think about that damn aisle. I don't even stand inside the church while the wedding ceremony is happening. PTSD. It's a killer. Fine, then don't do the whole commitment thing. Just date. Be together, Dee says, as if that's the answer to everything. He just about told me he wants all that stuff, Dee. He loves me. I love him. I still can't believe it's happened this fast. Fast? He's had a thing for you since junior high. Fast, my ass. The man has always had it for you, Jack. You didn't see his face the day of your wedding. I just about pissed myself when I saw him sitting there, his eyes burning while his mama whispered at him like she wanted him dead. He was hurt, helpless, and angry. Why? We hadn't seen each other, not really, in 9 years. I huff, giving up on pretending to look at the menus, and accepting a beer that Bay kept stashed in my mini fridge. Jack, he probably thought he could go to college, make a start in life, and come back here to nab his prize. That sounds reasonable, I think, sniffing, because that's what I did too. I went to college, started working at the hotel, and then I guess I waited for Cord to come back for a good 2 years before I finally just gave up and started dating. It was when Felix asked me to marry him that I realised waiting wasn't going to cut it anymore. Part of my hesitancy saying yes in the first place was not wanting to do something I'd regret. Not that I ever really thought that I would be with Cord. How? I assumed he'd shaken Hartley off his feet and wasn't ever coming back for good. It about almost shocked me to death to see him walk out of the church on my wedding day, and even more so when Sarah Nixon told me that he was staying. For good. Even bought a house. That I love. Ironically, it's the one I wanted to buy when I was considering a family home with Felix, but it was way out of my price range. So you see, I never imagined. But now, here it is, in my lap, and all I can think about is getting left there again. Only this time it'll be much worse, because I don't think I'd let Cord walk out of the church. I'd attach myself to his ankle and beg, if I didn't lose my mind and kill him. You're overthinking things. Talk to him. Tell him you need time. Date. Be a normal couple. Hell, you were with Felix the twat for 2 years before you considered marriage. Dee points out, being so reasonable, I have to consider that I'm trying to throw up obstacles because I'm scared. Damn it. What if he's not into that, I ask, trying to be logical while also telling myself to be a woman and woman up. Then you tell him it's that or nothing, Bay says, her expression going thoughtful. Trust me, Jack. The man's just crazy enough for you. He'll accept anything you can give him. I nod, not knowing what else to say, and frankly, wanting out of this discussion before I do something like cry and get beat up. Fine, but you know I don't think when my fufu gets involved, I mutter, hating that I hope she wins. And liking it. They leave while I'm still trying to figure out how I just got suckered into losing, and I mope for the rest of the day, not getting a scrap of work done because I think they may be right. I'm a ninny. No marriage. I bark the words as Cord opens his front door, slipping in and dropping my bag beside the living room door with the bottle of wine clutched in my hand. Cord blinks, giving me a deer in the headlights look before closing the door and following me into the kitchen of my damn dreams. I don't say a word until I'm seated at the table with a glass of wine and Cord puttering about throwing a quick meal together since I didn't call. He finally sits down after throwing 2 T-bones in the oven and tossing a salad from the bag into a bowl, his eyes grey and showing a lot of nothing. Marriage. No marriage, I repeat, sipping my wine to keep myself on even footing for this conversation. He scowls, runs a hand through his hair and then sighs, leaning back to glare at me. I want legitimate children, he argues, making me wince and shiver, thinking about what Mama would say to my ideas. And I don't know if I can give that to you, Cord. You said you love me the other day, and you know I never said it back. I can wait, Jack, he cuts in, making my chest go tight because that is so sweet. No man I have ever known would be this understanding and sweet and perfect. But I can't let him hang there without a net, and frankly, I don't want him to think I don't love him. Because I do. I've known the man since I was entoweling nappies, and he's been a constant in my life for as long as I can remember. Sure, not all of it was good. Orange proves that. But he's not my enemy. And of late, I've come to realise that I want him to be more. I love you, I blurt out before he can say anything else, and watch as he smiles and his face lights up, popping his dimples. He's out of his chair and on me before I can blink, and then it's me smiling into the passionate kiss he lays on me, my libido ramping up to say hello faster than a blink. Then, be with me, please, he begs, pulling back to look down at me. I've loved and wanted you since you grew boobs, Jack Brady. It damn near killed me when I found out you were getting married. It was the worst and best day of my life when that idiot ran out of the church with Melinda. I thought I was sunk, that I'd waited too long. I snort, putting a hand over his mouth and give him a snarky smile. Is that why you came at me with a wedding, thinking that me knowing you were getting married would get you into the action? He flushes, shrugging uncomfortably, and then smiles, rebounding fast. I didn't think you'd give me the time of day otherwise, and I wanted to spend enough time with you to make you fall for me, he confesses, making me laugh when he adds. And I wanted some revenge. I wanted to see how you reacted when you thought I was marrying another woman. That makes sense to me because I'm of the make them suffer for hurting me kind of women, so I smile and chuckle, not getting mad about his scheming, even if it irks me that he'd make me feel so shitty for days. And you didn't like it, he says, grinning and making me slap his chest playfully, my mouth still smiling a little. So much for all that detective work Bay and I were doing searching through my guest list for that elusive fiancé. No, I really didn't, I admit, shaking my head to clear it of the anger and hurt I felt. But I'm not in that place where I think I can even think about marriage and a wedding and all the stuff that comes along with it, I confess, swallowing when his face falls and the happiness melts away. Jack, I love you, honey. You know that. Heck, I sold everything I owned in Mississippi and bought a house here, even though all my business is there. I've faked a wedding, made love to you twice, and got caught sitting outside your house like a stalker. Don't you think that's enough to prove to you I'm a good bet? He asks softly. My chest tightens painfully, the ache of regret and fear inside me multiplying with every word out of his mouth. You don't need to prove anything to me, Cord. I already know that you're a good bet. It's just, we've been together for a few days. Heck, one, if you consider that we only officially got together today. Can't we just take our time and be a couple first before we talk the big stuff? I ask, my voice and eyes pleading with him. He sighs, seeming to dig deep for understanding, and eventually nods before kissing me softly and pulling away. I'll give you time, Jack, but that's all I can offer. I'm never going to accept anything less than what you were going to give another man. But you have 2 months, woman, and then 2 months to decide if you can take a chance on me, he says. Okay. Good. Now, come on and eat. I have so much I want to show you. I snort at his lascivious tone and feel my lips twitch when he serves up the dinner at warp speed, swallows without chewing properly, and stares at me incessantly while I eat. I take my time, not to be a tease, but because I choked once and no one who's had the Heimlich will ever go there again. My daddy is a big man, and he got so panicked he broke a rib while saving my life. Never again. I finish eventually and expect him to pounce and attack me. I mean, that's what I was hoping for. But the man surprises me by smiling, taking my hand and leading me outside to a pool area with glowing blue water and privacy walls high enough that when he takes my clothes off, I don't protest. I sigh when the water touches my overheated skin. When I was a kid, I always wanted a pool, but Mum had a sister who drowned, so it was a hard no. I used to go over to Kai's and his dad taught me to swim when I jumped in and almost drowned. Cord says, smiling. My mama threw us in the deep end and Luann yelled at us to tread or be dead, I say ruefully, enjoying the relaxed mood we're in now. I don't know how to say this without sounding like a sap, so I'll just say it and deny it if my sisters ever find out. It's not uncomfortable having a moment with the guy I love, just enjoying the small things instead of ripping each other's clothes off. With Felix, it was either mundane or we were going at it like rabbits. Before Melinda, I mean. Then it was more mundane than anything else, or he'd throw me a bone and do me hard and fast. With Cord, it's nice to know that he wants me. It's nice, I think, resting back to enjoy the water and the beautiful stars. Your mama is a hard woman, but I get it. If she'd babied you all, the rest of your family would have ripped you to shreds. You're telling me. We swam by the age of 5 so perfectly that we'd sneak out at night to go swim in the pool on our property. It was Daddy who was the softy and the worrywart. He'd bandage scraped knees and give us vitamins. Mama just told us to walk it off. I chuckle, remembering how my daddy would sniff and wipe at his eyes, as if he'd been the one to get the scrape or a cough. In my family, my mama is the tough nut and daddy is the marshmallow centre. I kinda like it that way because I know my big, really tough daddy will kill to protect me and kiss my head when I need it. Mama can be counted on for violence and endearing ridicule if you're a crybaby. Peps you right up at times. I love my folks, but I used to wish I could have a mama like yours, Cord says. You know, I had to fight to play football. She fought it hard for months before my father just signed the consent on the sly and told her I was going to guitar practice. She didn't know until I got to junior year and they starred me on the team. I did not know that, but knowing Sarah and her almost hypochondriac ways, I am not surprised. I love that woman, but if you sneeze, she cries TB and starts walking around with a face mask. I giggle at the image and Cord squeezes me, chuckling when I tell him what I'm thinking. He agrees his mama is a nervous basket case. Yeah, you should have seen her on your wedding day. She almost dug a hole in my arm when it looked like it was going to happen. I was about to stand up and yell objection just to get her nails out of my arm when that scum made his confession. Shitty timing, though, he mutters, making me snort. Yeah, well, I agree, seeing as I had to stand there in front of all those people and hear about how he just loves Melinda and can't live without her or their demon spawn, I mutter half-heartedly. I'll probably adore that kid. Someday, when I don't want his or her parents to die in a brutal and bloody way. But it worked out in the end. Why him, anyway? I mean, come on, Jack, the guy was a jerk in school. He was not. He was just geeky. He buffed up really nice after college, I defend, getting a growl and a soft bite to the neck for my efforts. Okay, sorry, he's a pipsqueak, I mutter, giggling when he grunts his satisfaction. When we were younger, I had this fantasy of sneaking into your bedroom at night and waking you. It wasn't very creative, but I was a randy teen. The water laps between us as I stare at him, heart pounding. His confession hangs in the air, raw and disarming. As I got older and then eventually went off to college, I told myself it didn't matter. Jack Brady hates me. What difference will wishing make? But I didn't stop fantasizing. He laughs, low and self-deprecating. Suddenly the years of sharp words and stolen glances make sense. You were wrong, I murmur. I never hated you. Not really. His breath hitches. For a heartbeat. The world narrows to the space between us. Then he tugs me closer, until the water swirls around us and his forehead rests against mine. Chapter 9. Jack. I bounce my leg up and down as I chew on my thumbnail, nerves making me want to puke, just as Kim storms through the door and hands me a pregnancy test. I can't be, I think, swallowing bile as my throat works hard and fast. It's just change of season, maybe a cold or flu. It can't be this, I think, shaking when she crosses her arms and taps her foot on the hardwood floor. This is ridiculous. I can't believe you made me drive an extra 20 minutes out of my way just so no one saw me. I could have told them it's for me. Shut up and come watch me pee on the stick, I bark, getting to my feet slowly, because I'm terrified I'll faint and make Kim go into a panic attack. Kim huffs and follows me to the bathroom, her eyes glued to me the whole time I'm squatting on the toilet and peeing, the stick taking at least most of the hit along with my fingers. Gross. I'm freaking the hell out, and it's not because I don't love Cord and don't want a family someday. It's just that I'm only almost 28, and we've been together a total of 6 weeks. It's been the best 6 weeks of my life, I won't lie. Most nights, he sleeps over here. Or I go to his place so there's not even a separation that we can use to define things as dating. We're together. All the time. He goes to work, I go to work, and then we're together for the rest of our time. I don't even bother to go home on weekends anymore because he just turns up at my house, whines that his pool is bigger, and then I give in and go home with him. It's been great, even better than the first throes of my relationship with Felix. But here's the thing. The clock is ticking on my 2-month deadline, and I am completely freaking about that. You'd think a baby in the mix would be my greatest fear, but no, it's what the baby signifies. That I have no out, that when 2 months is officially up next week, I won't have an out or a leg to stand on if I say no to more. This isn't a big deal. The two of you are practically married anyway. Mama even calls him son. Kim huffs when my lips start quivering, her foot tapping impatiently when I put the stick on the counter and scrub my hands clean at the sink. We aren't married. What the hell is wrong with you people? Why can't anyone understand that I am just not ready for that? I yell, my emotions going nuts with dread choking me. Jack, baby, I know you don't want to talk about this right now, but I have to point out that you're being irrational. You're practically married to Cord. You live with him more often than not. You wash your washing together. He walks into the bathroom while you're on the throne and you used his toothbrush the morning you couldn't find yours. Because I was running late and you know I'll puke at some stage in the day if my mouth feels icky. She sighs, comes over to sit me on the edge of the tub and sits beside me to take my hand. I know what she's thinking, what she wants to say, but right now I can't hear it. Yes, she's right. Cord and I are practically married in practice, I get it. When a guy walks into the bathroom to tell you he's running to the store while you're going number 2 and doesn't even bat an eyelash, you're married, end of story. I get it, okay? But everything is so great as it is. We have a contract with the resort and they deliver exactly the package we promised our clients. When I'm there working with the kitchen to craft wedding menus, everything flows smoothly. We make a great team, and I'm happy. I'm doing well. The business is booming, with both shotgun weddings and the regular kind where the groom's father-in-law-to-be only wants to kill him, not peel him alive. I have it all right now. A good job, a nice house, and a great relationship. Why can't everyone just get the hell off my back and let me enjoy? I think, scowling. Kim's eyes go soft the way they do when she's trying to explain to Bull that eating his own poop will make him sick. That kid is going to be so screwed up when he's older. Honey, you're not thinking straight. Cord loves you. I know. He says it every day. And he even took me home to officially meet his parents as his girlfriend. It was awesome. And I got to sit down for Sunday lunch at a table where people don't attack you with a fork for taking the last potato. So then, what is the problem exactly? She asks, for once not sniping at me or calling me a weak-willed bottom feeder. I pause, staring at the stick on the sink where it has yet to change. Have you ever had this feeling about someone or something? Wanted it more than anything in life? I ask, rubbing my index fingernail in a move that I've always made when I'm stressed. Sure, Kim says, looking back at me with beetled brows. I wanted that Barbie with the scuba gear one birthday, but Mama got me a fishing pole and told me I needed to learn to be useful, not an airhead who talks to herself. I giggle because I got the same thing. Mama says playing with dolls and talking in character is insanity, that it all boils down to you talking to yourself, having a one-sided conversation with two strange voices. She calls childhood roleplay schizophrenia. Daddy called it fun and bought the dolls and even played with us while Mama was out with Luan. Not exactly what I was going for, but close enough, I chuckle, pushing away the habit of keeping my feelings inside unless they're anger. Then it's open season. Okay, you want to tell me the rest of it? She asks, nudging me with her shoulder. Well, see, I always just wanted to be happy, have a family like Mama and Daddy did. I mean, it's gross, but they love each other so much, and even today they still look at each other as if it's the first time. There's no age or passing of time. I swear I heard him tell her the other day, she still has the best ass he's ever seen. That's disgusting. Yeah, but it's also sweet and cute and nice, you know? I want that. You have it with Cord. Jack, the man buys you feminine products, she gripes. I am so jealous. It's not that. And yeah, I know he loves me, trust me. And I love him too, so much. But it's... that realm of the perfect wedding got tarnished, you know? I settled for someone who was a good choice because I didn't want to be alone, and now that wedding, it doesn't mean anything to me. The only thing I feel when I think of going through a whole wedding is nausea. If it had been Cord, if I'd actually gotten to the I-dos, I don't think I'd feel this. But it was all so messed up, Kimmy. People still laugh and ask me if I drink gummy berry juice. Kim laughs, an outright belly-rolling chuckle that has my mouth curving upward, even though I'm not feeling all that jolly. Still not getting your beef, Jack, she says. I don't want to make the same mistakes with Cord that I made with Felix. I loved Felix, please don't think I didn't, and it hurt when he threw me over for Melinda. But with Cord, it would be like being stabbed in the gut if he left. I love him like Mama and Daddy love each other. It scares me to think that I could have that dangled in front of me, and then it'll get yanked away, I say, confessing my darkest fear. Rejection. I hate being rejected. Felix hurt, Cord would gut me. She sighs, seeming to get what I'm saying, and then shrugs as if none of it matters at all. Doesn't matter. You'll have to get over it and learn to move on, or you'll be stuck alone. Cord isn't the kind of man who'll be satisfied with halfway, Jack. He wants it all because he gives it all. So, suck it or get off the pot and leave the man be. Before you hurt him more than is necessary, she says, smiling and kissing my cheek gently. You're in the clear. It's either a bug or your nerves. Test is negative. She leaves without another word, and I sit in the bathroom for an hour, thinking about why exactly I'm disappointed and not relieved that I'm not having a baby. It's not easy for me. I'm not into examining my emotions. Usually, when a Brady feels blue or confused, we go to the shooting range with Luann, and she gives us her gun to take it out on an inanimate object. Today, I'm stuck in the shitter, melancholy, and all too aware that I have a week to make a life-altering decision, or odds are cord walks. Cord. You heard her say that? Jeff barks, making me nod, and put back a neat whiskey before ordering another. We're in Sully's, in the back, where we usually play poker on a Saturday night, and I'm getting myself completely drunk because I feel like hell, and I don't know what to do about it unless I confess to Jack that I was outside that bathroom door, listening to her confide in Kim. I don't know what makes me feel worse, her not telling me she suspected she was pregnant and isn't, or the fact that I just had to listen to the woman I love pour her heart out about a legitimate fear that I haven't once given any credence to. She said she's afraid to reach for happiness because what if it gets taken away again? I feel like shit, man. She's been skirting around an actual commitment from the beginning, and all I kept thinking was that sure, it's happening fast, but it's because we've loved each other forever. I never once considered that Jack is terrified of getting married, I mutter, slurring slightly when the whiskey hits me head on. Sully grunts, pushing me back into the chair before I sit on my ass on the floor and I groan, leaning back to glare when Kai chuckles. We're all pathetic. Here's Jeff wanting a woman who looks at people like she'd steal their soul if they stare long enough. Sully is into a sadistic woman who wears shoes that can be seen from space. I'm so into Dee Brady, it literally makes me tear up when I see her out and about with Zach, even though I have no room to talk since I'm still dating Janice. And you've been with Jack for almost 2 months, and still, no dice. Kai's just as drunk as I am, so I take no exception to the bitter tone he uses, knowing that if he was sober, he'd probably be moping and pretending not to cry. I feel worse though, because unlike these poor idiots, I know what it's like to love and be loved by my woman. I just haven't given her what she needs. And the truth is that I don't know if I can. I love Jack more than I thought I could love. I wake up and see her and my day is made no matter what happens. I make love to her, hold her at night, spend hours just talking to her, and it's all I could ask for. But I need the rest too. I need her to look at me when I give her a ring and say yes, because she loves me so much she wants to spend forever with me. I want kids, a home, a family. I want it all, and it's only hitting me now that maybe that won't happen for me. Not if we stay together. And that hurts, because I know that I can't just walk away, and it's blatantly clear that I should, before I twist her up even more than I already have, and hurt her with my needs. She isn't ever going to want marriage, I say hoarsely, blinking when my eyes go hot and wet. She wants to be with me and take her time, as if she's test driving me like a car. Dude, don't look at it that way. Jack loves you, man, Jeff says, his conviction admirable and kind, but not what I need right now. I'm angry. At her for not trusting me enough to look at the life we've made and want more, want it all. At me, because it doesn't matter what I feel. In the end, I know I'm going to have to give up the only thing I have ever wanted. How else am I supposed to see this? She got engaged to some guy, planned her whole wedding, while I was gone trying to become someone worthy of her. I worked myself to the bone, sacrificed everything, and for what? So I could come back and trail after her like some lovesick fool while she strings me along just to fill the empty spaces? I scoff, the heat of my anger rising with every word. For me, it's about her seeing me, the man I am, and knowing I'm enough. To her, it's freakouts about a pregnancy I didn't even know about, because she couldn't be bothered to actually share anything with me. It's all about the day-to-day, no future, no sharing anything deeper than the little childhood stories she tells me. I don't get anything from it, nothing, just a warm bed. Yeah, I'm pissed, and right now, the way I feel, I could happily tell her to get the hell out of my life and not care. Tomorrow it will hurt. I know this. But tonight, I've had my heart ripped out by a woman who doesn't understand what love is, never mind true love. Cord, you're drunk, man. I get it. She kept something from you that she shouldn't have. She's human, man. She'll make mistakes like everyone else. If you love her, you'll talk to her and work it out. Sully intervenes when I scoff and let out a curse. Love her. I worship that woman. I try every single day to show her that being with me isn't going to be her relying on me, but us together, doing it the way a real couple would. I try and try, man, and she just doesn't get it. You know what the worst part is? It's 1 week to count down, and all she says so far is that we should plan a trip before she loses her vacation time. A trip? I want her to marry me. The entire wedding is planned and just waiting, and she redirects by trying to get me to leave for a few days, I say, clenching my fists when my anger and resentment amp up. Cord, buddy, please, just calm down. I know you're hurt, I get it. Kimberly brought a date here last night. I know, hurt, but man, you have Jack. All you have to do is hang in there and make her see it, Sully pleads. That only makes it worse because we all know that I don't have her. This pregnancy scare is just one small part of the bigger issue I've been trying to pretend isn't there. She isn't going to say yes when I propose. She knows it, and I think deep down I knew it the moment she said no marriage. I thought I was winning, that I'd scored a major victory with her, but the truth is that I wanted her so much I refused to acknowledge that she walked into my life with the rules already in play, and we started this relationship with those rules guiding us. Jack is a control freak, a competitor in everything she does. She plays to win, and for her, that victory would be me giving her more time, more leeway, and in the end, just one more part of my heart for her to break. Screw bringing her closer and giving her time. Screw it all, because in the end, it'll be me conceding and compromising while she gets what she wants. Everything will be on her terms. We'll have a family when she's ready, not discuss it with me because she won't want to argue, and eventually I'll cave and say, fine, let's do it your way. Because truly, all I wanted was her. I thought it would be enough to just have her. In reality, I'm not that guy. I'm not a chauvinist at all. But I do believe that as the man, I have a certain role to play, as does Jack. With everything else, it's supposed to be a partnership. I just didn't think it would end with me holding the bag, alone. Chapter 10. Jack. I call Cord's phone again, letting it ring and ring some more until the familiar mechanical voice tells me to leave a message after the beep. I've been calling since last night when he didn't turn up to pick me up, and I haven't stopped calling every hour on the hour. I haven't slept a wink all night, worry and real fear making my eyes pop open every time they slammed shut. When I call again, for the third time in as many minutes, and the call gets dropped, it's as if my heart stops beating. Cord doesn't ever drop my calls. Heck, it hardly rings before he answers it. I frown down at the phone when the call ends abruptly and look up at the microwave where the time blinks at me accusingly. 7:34 in the morning, and I've called him 26 times, not including this call because it was a dead call that he ended. By 8, I feel as if I'm ready to climb out of my skin, so I shower and slip on my shorts and a pink tee that reads, "Balls and boobs sag don't discriminate." I still don't quite get the shirt, but Dee bought it for me, so I wear it. Plus, it makes my boobs look great. Pulling on a pair of rubber flip-flops, I grab my bag and keys, determined to talk to Cord, or at least ascertain that he is safe and uninjured, or lying dead somewhere in a ditch, which should be damn near close, the way I'm feeling right now. The car is baking hot, even at this time of the morning, so I roll the window down, push my sunglasses onto my nose, and disregard the speed limit to get some air into the car. I'm almost chirpy enough to rap along with Jessie J and her price tag by the time I pull into his driveway, his midnight blue truck letting me know that At least he wasn't in an accident. I'm pissed all over again, though, when I knock and get no answer. I stand there knocking and ringing the bell for a good 5 minutes before it becomes apparent that he's either not here or ignoring me. I don't want to think that he's blowing me off, not after the way things have been going so great. It's just not possible. But the sight of his truck parked in the driveway has me going around back. What I see when I get through the fence and make my way around to the pool area makes me stop dead in my tracks and just freeze. It's like those horror movie moments where the stupid blonde sees a dead body and just stops, gearing up for a blood-curdling, "You're gonna get your ass killed quicker," scream. I should look away, turn, do anything but just stand and watch as Cord rolls over and almost falls off the lounger, the blonde lying beside him moaning and turning to cuddle on her stomach. She's wearing almost nothing, just a bra and one of those whorish G-strings I can't wear because my ass looks too huge in them. I'm jealous instantly, and then I feel a shard of pain pierce me, followed by a slow restart of my mind. Unfortunately, I still haven't moved, not by an inch, and it's then that Cord cracks an eye open and looks right at me. At first, I don't even think he recognizes me, but soon that blank, just woke-up stare turns to horror, and I watch as he looks at the girl, looks back at me, and scrambles to his feet, stumbling as he gets vertical. My heart is not hurting. It's way past that feeling, and well into agony territory. I can barely breathe while I watch him grab his shirt to cover up his unbuttoned jeans, but I drag in a hard lungful of air when he comes closer, reaching out to touch me. "No!" I hiss, my eyes going from him to her and back to him again. Looking hurts, but I want to see this, really see everything, so I will know in the future that taking risks isn't worth it. I just got schooled, completely defeated, and I know it, so I should take a mental snapshot so I won't ever forget. Cord flinches when I step back, spitting out a curse when he tries to take my arm again. "Jack, this isn't what it looks like," I ask, my throat tight and making the words come out a deep pant of sound. "What is it then?" He swallows and cringes some more, and I realise that he's hungover, and my voice is a little more than a bark. I'm yelling, angry, and making another spectacle of myself. Just like before. I didn't sleep with her. He looks frantic, guilty as hell, and afraid as I take another step back, my mind forcing my body to move despite the pain I feel. I don't want to be here. I don't want to stand here and be in yet another situation where one of the infamous Brady girls loses her shit and throws a baptismal so hard it busts a church roof. For once, just once, I think I can pull back the pain and not be who everyone thinks I am. Yeah, I'm sarcastic and fun, and I have a raging temper. It's all in good fun. But I'm also just human. Just a girl standing in front of a boy, watching him scramble to cover up what is blatantly obvious. "Jack!" He steps after me, making me turn to fast walk through the gate and into the front. I'm almost desperate to get to my car. My breath is coming in shallow pants, the kind that only happens when it's hard to breathe, and crying isn't just an option, it's happening. I don't want to cry now. Not now. I've cried enough and hurt enough, and all I want is to go home, hunker down and be by myself where the only person who talks is me. "Jack!" "Don't!" I hiss when I slide into the driver's seat, only to have him grab the door to stop me. "Don't you even dare touch me, Cord Nixon. I trusted you. I stop, grinding my teeth together so hard it hurts because the choked sound of my voice is just a step away from a sob. Cord flinches, letting go of the door, but steps right up to my open window, his hands gripping the door tight enough I hear one of his knuckles pop. "It's not what it looks like, Jack. I swear. Please, please, just come inside and let me explain," he begs, the desperation in his eyes so strong I almost cave. I hate seeing him hurt. I should have told him about the pregnancy scare and shared my fears of marriage. No, that's not true. I am not afraid of marriage. I want it. I'm just terrified of walking down the aisle again. That's what I was going to tell him last night and ask him if we could compromise. I'd do a wedding, but only with a handful of people. Him, me, and maybe one or two of my sisters and his friends. That was my aha light bulb moment. I start the car with a decisiveness I don't feel. A huge part of me wants to go inside and listen to what he has to say. A bigger part hopes that it will wipe away the ugliness in my head. The sane part that's been crushed under his boot heel of love knows that nothing constructive can come of me being anywhere near him right now. I'd cry, hit him, and yell unforgivable things at him. That's the part I go with, shaking my head as my throat thickens before putting the car in reverse and pulling out. The last image I have of him is seeing him crouch in the driveway, as if everything inside him has deflated. I kinda get it. I feel airless too right now. Kim hands me another brownie, trying to coax me to eat it, but I put it on the side table, where the other one still sits untouched, and stare out into the yard instead. It's 6 a.m. on a Monday, and I'm on the back porch in my shorts and a tee, still kicking it but smelling, a little too ripe for comfort. It's been 2 days since I walked into Cord's place and saw him sleeping next to some barely dressed floozy. The drive home is still a blur, and the hours after that aren't any better. I came home, I know that, and I stayed in the bathtub until one of my sisters came in and sprayed me wet like a dog. Bae. I've been out here ever since, and after my clothes dried and the other two showed up, I had an epiphany, the kind my family hates. I decided that talking isn't something I want to do. I don't want anyone getting pissed at Cord, so I haven't said a word, but to tell them it didn't work out. I cried a little too, but I don't care. I really don't. It felt good. It also scared Bae senseless because that mask of hers cracked and she took off out of here like I was holding a gun on her. Kim stayed though, so here we are on the porch, me smelling, and Kim's been trying to get me to eat a knockoff version of my favourite brownie. I wish I could eat because the smell of Dee's version is phenomenal, as is the little biscuit chips I can see floating around in that peanut chocolatey goodness. If anything could make me eat, it would be those. So I guess I must be pretty bad off if the sight of them just makes my gut ache and revolt at the thought of eating. Please, just say something, Kim rails, grabbing my shoulders to shake me. Go home, Kimmy, I'm on vacation, I say in a dead voice. I've never felt this way before, so I'm as confused as I am melancholy. Everything hurts, and yet I feel numb. Sometime during the course of last night, while I watched a raccoon try to get through the lid of my super impenetrable garbage can, I think I shut everything down because it hurt. Too much. Way too much for me to keep feeling it. Jack, honey, please just talk to me. You're scaring me. I'm fine, Kim. I just need a vacation. Bullshit. The last time that toe wart took you on vacation, you spent 2 days organising the bed and breakfast you stayed at. Nita is still calling me to tell me how well your system works and what a lift she had in revenue because of it. You don't rest. You pretend to do it while you plot ways to organise other people's lives. I would laugh at that because I smugly dust off my shoulder with an inner smile. I do rock that way. But not today. Today I feel bone weary and all I want to do is just sit here until I can sleep. I just want to sleep and forget and wake up not feeling anything. Is that too goddamn much to ask? I don't want to talk, Kim. I don't want to go over the whole thing with a fine-toothed comb and dissect every single word and intention. Okay? We broke up. It's done. We'll move on. I mutter, groaning when I hear a ruckus coming from inside and look up to see Mama stomp out the back door, followed by my big cuddly teddy bear, Daddy. She looks me up and down, sniffs, and then shocks me blind when she pulls me into her arms and actually starts crying. Oh, baby, You look the way poor Luann did when she left Jimbo for 3 days. She stank, too. And we found a mouse in her hair, she says, her voice choked up while I myself want to laugh. I look up to see Kim's mouth wobble and Daddy's eyes sparkle before he gently nudges Mama out of the way and opens his arms. I'm there in a beat, clinging to him as the familiar smell of hops and Mama's lotion assails my nose. It's comfort of the highest degree, and I giggle a little when I lean into his neck and smell it stronger there. Daddy loves having Mama's smell on him. It's a smell I associate with home and love and safety. It's all Daddy, and right now, I need him. Tell your da what happened then, lass. Do I need to kill anyone and hide them in the vats? He murmurs into my hair. I shake my head no, staying silent, and Mama and Kim huff before going inside to leave us alone. Jackie girl, da loves you, but lass, you smell worse than George's little ones. Go have a clean up do, and then you come out here and tell your old da what ails you. I don't. For me, Jackie, my eyes are fair burning from the funk. You clean up, Ma will make you a good spot of coffee and her bacon, and then we'll talk. It's me or her, lass, he says softly, giving me a squeeze and a gentle kiss on my forehead before setting me back. I shudder, trying to think of Mama being the comfort in this situation, and decide I'd rather not risk having her go into a mental breakdown, trying to access any other emotion but anger and scorn. I'll go shower. Good lass, he says, grinning when I shiver, and walk inside, ignoring the 2 idiots at the stove, arguing about what tasted better in eggs, cayenne, or regular pepper. I swear, one of these days I'm going to walk into a crime scene where a homicide occurred. A double homicide. Dee will have Mama's shotgun pellets embedded in her chest, and Mama will have Dee's rolling pin sticking out of her head. Shaking my head, I just let it go, ignoring my instinct to go over and mediate. I leave them there, sharp implements abounding, and go upstairs to shower, wincing at the colour of the water sloshing at my feet after I wash my hair. It takes longer than usual because I have to shave my legs and the bush that's appeared under my pits, and I take some extra leeway to lotion my body and dry my hair. By the time I get back downstairs, dressed in jeans and a loose off-the-shoulder, purple shirt, I do feel better. At least less cruddy. I walk out onto the porch, avoiding the battle stations in the kitchen, and join Daddy. Okay then, lass, tell your da. What has you so blue? I snort, rolling my eyes because it's not even semi-possible that they don't already know. I had a pap smear 4 months ago, and Daddy bought me a gold chain as a "sorry I didn't make you a boy" gift. It was clear, just in case you were wondering. No polyps and other gross growths for me. I broke up with Cord. Daddy scoffs, rolling his eyes, and tosses his shoulder-length grey-red hair over his shoulder in a move I've seen Kim do. Oh, to be so masculine the man can do girly things and not feel threatened. How did this breaking up occur? And don't give me some bullshit story. I already got what I needed from the boy. It's your turn now. Oh, he's got his hard voice on, and I know I won't come out of this lightly if I lie. Problem is, I don't want to read about Cord in the newspaper, with homicide officers calling for leads. Daddy? Tell me, lass. Can't fix nothing unless I know where it's broke, he says softly, chucking my chin when I sniff and my lip trembles. He wasn't answering his phone, and you know how he is. He hardly ever lets me have a minute to myself without calling. So I went on over there and I stop, taking a deep breath, the image of that perfect ass flashing in my mind. If I was a lesser person, I'd track her down and ask her how she gets her ass so tight. I want one too. He was hungover. Men are bears when they're hungover, lass. Yeah, but he wasn't a bear, Daddy. He had some floozy lying next to him, her perfect ass out in the wind, his jean button undone. Daddy flinches, but I note he doesn't seem surprised, and his words from earlier come to haunt me. He already spoke to the boy. Daddy? What did you do? I breathe, choking on my bacon when he hangs his head guiltily. Don't yell at your old da, Jack. My heart can't stand it. Oh, don't you try to use the I'm so soft and lovable bullshit with me. What did you do? I grate, my heart pounding clear through my chest. I just went to talk, Jack, he says in a high-pitched voice that I am sure has Mama's dog senses on high alert. Guilty. He only uses that voice when he's guilty. Oh, Dad, please tell me you didn't. I only hit him twice, Jack. Just twice to loosen his tongue up some. Don't hate your loving da, lass. I did it because I love you and I knew it were bad when Bay showed up at the house and it looked like one of her eyes might cry, he defends. I stifle a laugh and my curiosity. Did you get a photo of that? Please tell me you got evidence of Bay owning a heart. What? I can't help it. That would be like them finding those dinosaur bones, a momentous discovery of humanity-like proportions. Daddy grins, shrugging, and shows me his phone where Bay looks. Pained. It's so beautiful, I can hardly breathe. She came over looking like she wanted to weep. She did, and told me you and Cord were on the outs. She was so upset, Jack, I knew you'd have to be faring worse. So I went over, just to talk. Daddy. The man looked like he'd been drugged through hell, lass. It was pathetically sad. He told me what happened, and I have to admit, when I heard the words other woman, I hit before he could fully explain the situation. He didn't even put up a fight, just took it without a word, as if he wanted a beating, Daddy says, looking pained and sad. That man is broken over the mistake he made. Mistake? He slept with another woman, I hiss, my anger bubbling again and making the numbness disappear. He didn't, though, Daddy rushes out, looking merry because the old ass led me here, quite cleverly, I might add. Do those Irish lasses have manipulation curdling their breast milk, or what? It's taught from the cradle there. Explain. I swear, though, Dad, if you're going to justify his actions... No justifying, lass. He confessed that he was angry and he fully intended to sleep with that woman. He couldn't, though. Came time for it, but the poor man was so beset with heartache, he ended up crying on her shoulder and drinking with those idiot friends of his. They were all in the house still, slept over, and every one of them swore nothing happened. Cord passed out by the pool, and Henny didn't want to leave him out there all by himself. Henny? You're on a first-name basis with the woman? I gasp, feeling betrayed and a little happy too. Maybe Daddy can ask her how she got her ass so perfect. She's a nice lass. She stayed out there to make sure he didn't do something foolish like swim when he was blotto. The G-string? I ask through gritted teeth. Was on account of she lost her pants somewhere along the bar route. Her friends got her slit-eyed and decided to play a prank on her. That's how Cord and the boys found her. Passed out drunk on a bench on Main Street, he explains, laughing when my eyes widen because that's happened to me. Only it was granny panties on Lexington, and my own sisters did it to me. Don't judge me. We went bar hopping on washing day. I didn't have anything sexier that wasn't crusty. Fine, but that still doesn't absolve him. You just told me he was going to sleep with her. Why? And what the hell did he have to be pissed about? I ask, chewing my bacon like a feral animal, to stop from cursing any more than I already have. Now Daddy's face goes hard and I swallow, knowing his eyes are on me. You've been a bad lass, Jacobie. You're in a loving relationship with a man who plotted and planned to nab you, and he's giving you all this love and patient understanding. And what do, lass? You have a pregnancy scare and tell your sister. I hate it when the tables are turned and there are too many witnesses for me to deny anything. Kim narked me? No, Jack. Cord went over to your place to surprise you, and he heard you talking to Kimmy. What's this I hear about my Jack refusing to marry a man she loves? Daddy? No, Jackie. Don't give me that little girl face and the trembling lip. I'm very disappointed in you, girl. I never thought I raised a coward, Jacobie. Kim is mean, Dee is homicidal, and Bay—" He shudders while getting an adoring look on his face. "You've always been the smart one who owns her emotions and spits in the eye of anyone who tries to deny you what you want. And I hear you're refusing a future with that man because you're afraid?" He sounds so disappointed I want to punch someone. Mostly Cord for telling him in the first place. I do, however, feel like shit, because if Cord heard what I said to Kim, then he probably thinks I won't give him that future. And in some convoluted way, I now get why he went off the rails. Damn it, I don't like being wrong. At all. And even more, I hate not knowing how to fix this. I know I will marry him, would have. I was going to tell him that the night he ignored my calls. I thought long and hard, Daddy, and it came to me. I'm not afraid of commitment and marrying Cord. I just can't do the big bells and whistles wedding, I confess. I expect him to hug me and say something nice to make me feel better. What I get are a snort and narrowed eyes. Too damn bad. Tomorrow is your wedding day, girl. You get your head on straight and show up at that church, and I'll make sure the man is there. Daddy, it's time for you to prove your mettle, Jack, and what better way to do it than to show up, walk down the aisle and take another gamble, this time with a man you can trust, he says softly. I gulp, every nerve in me going tense, and find myself nodding, even though what I want to do is run. Far. What he's saying is simple. I hurt Cord by being a commitment-phobic woman who was taking another man's flaws out on him. I owe it to Cord to make this big, dramatic production out of things, if I want him back. If not, I can walk and lose him forever. But if I do this, take the risk, put on the dress and walk to him, there's a chance I could win the battle of a lifetime. What if he doesn't even want me anymore? I ask. I screwed things up pretty badly, I say, my voice barely a whisper. Daddy pats my leg and smiles when Mama leans out the window and pecks my cheek. You'll never know until you get there, baby. Now, I still got my wedding dress. No! I yell, jumping to my feet and hollering for Kim. I've seen photos of that disaster, and no way, no how, will I get hitched in something that looks that bad. It has puffed sleeves. That went out in the 60s, along with hairspray and beef in a can. Kim comes busting out onto the porch, her orange heels making my eyes pop and bleed. What? Who's hurt? Why didn't anyone call me for a fight? I need a dress. I'm getting married tomorrow. Chapter 11. Cord. I try not to laugh as Jack Brady marches around nervously, checking his watch every few seconds as the time ticks by. Now, after Jack left me, and I was devastated in a bad way, I thought for sure I'd screwed everything up beyond repair. When Declan showed up and beat my ass, I didn't so much as flinch because I knew I deserved it. I messed up, letting my anger and the booze run my head and ruining what I should have been fighting for, not running from. Declan, after he gave me a black eye for hurting his baby, very neatly told me how things were going to go. The man is manipulative, but if this works, then I hope to one day learn from him. Stop pacing. Can't. You never know what that girl will do, boy. A word of advice from a man who's been witnessing those girls make a mockery of life for years. Don't ever think you know what a Brady woman will do. I nod, conceding his point, because for all I know, Jack could be halfway to India at this time, thumbing her nose at me and my commitment. I'd just go and drag her back, of course, now that my head is screwed on straight, but I'm hoping to be standing at the altar and watching her walk my way instead. The sound of voices makes me turn, and I ignore the din of the guests as I look down towards the door to see Kim in her shocking pink taffeta dress, her green heels making me blink rapidly. Declan grins when she gives him a thumbs up, and I breathe easier when he hot-foots it to the front of the church and kisses his wife. Rue Brady hustles down to the front pew and throws me a wink and a smile, and then I look up when the guests gasp and almost swallow my tongue when I see her. That's my girl, Jack. Pit sweat will not look good on white silk, I tell myself over and over again as I tremble and take Daddy's hand, looking up to see Cord by the altar, his face expressionless. I'm set to come out of my skin as Daddy nods to the organist, and I almost do turn and bolt when Daddy starts walking, near dragging me because my feet don't want to work. Dee told me I could still run not 2 seconds ago, but I vetoed that when Mama threatened to dehair me if I so much as twitched. So here I am, walking down the aisle, and I am scared. But more than that, I feel right as I take deep breaths and keep my eyes on him, trying to show him all the love I feel in that one look. We get to the altar faster than humanly possible, possibly because Daddy hitched me to his side and practically ran me there, and then I'm taking Cord's hand and he's smiling, making my heart flutter. Dearly beloved. I don't hear a word, and by the time it comes to saying I do, Kim has to slap me upside the head to snap me out of my love bubble. I say the words, swallowing when the preacher turns to Cord and repeats the question. It's crunch time now. I've been here before, said my words, and had my groom confess his love for another woman instead of saying I do. I should be terrified, and yet I am smiling, at ease, filled with love and trust as I look back at Cord. I do, he booms, making the guests chuckle, and Kim yells something that has Preacher Ashton frowning. I kiss him, still floating on air, and feel that last little bit of my fear melt away. Took you long enough to get here, he murmurs against my lips. I ran here, I argue, giggling when he grabs my ass and hoists me up, ignoring the gasps and wolf whistles that echo around us. I'd have chased you anyway. Now, that I can believe, looking down at him while he grins, his grey-blue eyes sparkling. I love you, Cord Nixon. Thanks for being a liar, a cheat, and a stubborn fool for me, I whisper, kissing him sweetly in thanks. Any time and forever. Now, let's go drink and dance. I think Kai's finally gotten up the balls to do something about Dee. Want to help me and your daddy set them up? Can I be in charge? You'll have to talk to your daddy about that. I think you got your sneaky controlling ways from him. He laughs. Count me in, Mr. Nixon. Always, Mrs. Nixon. Now, come on, I think this ought to be fun. I laugh, taking his hand, and know that it will be. Fun, love, sneaky. All the things that I've always wanted. And I have that, with Cord. The end.